good? What's good, everybody? How's everybody feeling this morning? Live again, talking about Avengers as always. Hope everybody's had a good weekend so far. I see a couple of familiar faces in the chat. Appreciate you guys coming through as always. If you guys could do me a favor, make sure you slap a like on the video. Definitely helps support the channel. Does a lot more than you may assume. Definitely helps out. But if you haven't already, definitely do that. If you enjoy these videos and you want to support the stream, let's get a couple shout outs going to everybody in the chat. I gotta get my list together and start doing member shout outs as well. We got a couple new members to the Avenger squad these past few weeks, and I definitely appreciate you guys, and I'm definitely trying to do more to keep you guys, engaged and happy behind the scenes. But we got Fuzz in the chat. We got Paja or Paja. I never know if I'm saying your name right. If I'm saying it wrong, always correct me down in the comments. But I'm gonna go with Paja. We got S. We got Laverio or Lavero. Soldier. Meepa. What's up, Meepa? How you doing? We got Hexy. Fixia. Who else? Chris, what's good, Chris? Appreciate you coming through as always. Hope work and school have been kind to you this week. Derek, the simp guy, what's good, bro? We got Jedi Fallen Survivor as always. Appreciate you coming through. Nikita, we got New Draft Animations. Capte, what's good, nephew? Jazzy Butters in the house. Pepper LePew, DJ, what's good, DJ, man? We got to get some runs in. I know you've been asking to play the raid, for a while. I don't know if I think you are a member of the Discord. Like that's another place we can, kind of link up when I'm not playing on stream. What's good, King? What's good, Karlowski? Trying to make sure I'm not going over the same. We got Virgil, the Papa Beans, Truly, Chris. What's good, Chris? That's somebody I just was playing Avengers with last night. And Zachary. Capte with the membership, bro. Appreciate you, nephew. Love the support. We got Michael, MJ2, Apache Kid, Orlando, that boy dude in the house. I think we just caught up with everybody. So if I haven't shouted you out, let me know down in the chat. I'll make sure to shout you out for coming through. Corey Johnson, Desmond Peak. Appreciate you guys. As the title suggests, we talking about more echoes coming to Marvel's Avengers, and I know a lot of strong feelings are are out there about just echo characters in the game in general, and a lot of people are preferring more unique and original heroes. But being honest and being real, more than likely you're gonna get at least one echo hero a year going forward. More than likely. And I know people feel like majority of the feedback and reception to Jane Foster was, verbally negative, but there's been a lot more positive reception to that character than you may believe or certain narratives may suggest. And the developer team is definitely proud of the work they were able to do with her, as far as just making her slightly different from Thor, giving her different mechanics, giving her little tweaks and changes that they saved from Thor. So like her intrinsic is a lot better than his. She hits a little harder than him with throwing the hammer and things like that. Like little tweaks and changes they did to kind of make her stand out. And I think they're very proud of what they did. And while your feedback is definitely going to be factored into how they, handle the next hero or the next Echo hero and who they go with and everything, I feel like they're definitely looking to do that. Like, I got a couple developer quotes I'll pull up for you guys, just to show you like kind of where they're thinking and what the thought process was when they decided to develop this character and introduce her as one of the main heroes in the game. But so first up, of course, Captain Carter. Like, she has seen a massive rise in popularity. I know the Avengers and MCU community in general is kind of at odds about female heroes um, the writing for them, the handling of those characters. Um, People felt like they're being disproportionately, pushed to the forefront over their male, co-stars and peers. And despite all of that, she has seen a massive rise. Like you just saw her prominently displayed in What If. You saw her in a cameo in spoilers for Doctor Strange if you haven't seen that already, but she had a cameo in Multiverse of Madness. She's becoming more of a name, and it's like she's definitely a gimmick character because it's Daredevil with the super chat. Appreciate that, bro. Hey, we that's somebody I would be all about having in the game, but we kind of had that conversation already. But I'll touch on that towards the end of this conversation. But definitely would love to have Daredevil in the game. But yeah, like I know people have mixed feelings about Captain Carter in general, but she is kind of a hot topic character right now, and it's it's really that simple. Like the dev team, they'll have to look at stuff like that when they're considering who they can kind of cut corners with to shave down some of that development time because they talk about how they learned different development techniques for speeding up the process of getting new heroes into the game while working on Jane Foster. So they're definitely going to be looking to take advantage of opportunities like this. So you bringing in a character who you have most of their kit you can pull from another hero who's already established in the game. So that cuts down the designing phase considerably because you already know what you want to pull from, what you already want to do with that specific hero, and with her in specific, she can you have things you can do differently from Captain America to make her stand out. And I'm not advocating for her. I'm just being real. She's on the list of people that you could possibly see as another Echo hero in the same sense as Jane Foster. So she'll be based on Captain America, but they'll do enough to try to make her different outside of being just a one-to-one copy of Captain America. So you saw her with a jetpack in Multiverse of Madness. That's something they can add to her. Um, she can you can give her a gun. Similar to John Walker, who was also on this list. There's little things you can do. So it's like there's not a ton of room, but simply making her a flyer. So giving her a jetpack, I feel like that would be a big enough tweak to where it's like, all right, we Captain America, of course, doesn't fly, so she has different traversal in general. Just off the rip, if they slap a jetpack on her back, and you can play with that with her combat mechanics. Like she can have a burst rush, using the jetpack to kind of close the distance between her and enemies. We don't know what her heroics would be. There's room to play with and be creative. There is what I'm ultimately saying. What's good, Preach? Bro, I hope you're doing a lot better. I know you've been having a really rough week this week, as far as health. I hope you're feeling a little bit better. I know I'm not expecting a massive overnight turnaround for you, but every day I hope that the next day is a little bit better for you than the previous day was, and I appreciate you coming through. Um, I just don't like female versions of male characters, and that's a fair criticism to a degree. Again, it's like that kind of veers off into toxic territory in some cases. I'm not accusing you of that. I'm just simply saying that is some that comment and that mindset kind of streams off into different negative directions in some instances. But it's like as in general, the idea of I prefer you not do female gimmicks of male characters, that's completely fair, and I get it. But if I feel like as long as you do enough to make them different, as long as you do enough to have differentiating characteristics that make them their own unique person, is fine. So like Miles Morales being Spider-Man is like it's fine because you did enough to make him different. Like his backstory is completely different. His power set is vastly different from the traditional Spider-Man who relies mostly on gadgets outside of his own, unique physical gifts and everything. So it's like you did enough with the character to make them unique and stand out, so that they're not just a bland copy or carbon copy of the hero they're based off of initially. And it's like that's what you got to do. That has to be your mindset when you're going in with oh, we're gonna do this character based off of them. So we're gonna do She-Hulk, we're gonna do Red Hulk, we're gonna do whoever. How can we make them different? That has to be one of your biggest questions going into that conversation. She's a super soldier. She'd be as fast as them. Yeah, she's. I feel like they can make her fun. Whether or not they should, I feel like they need I honestly, I feel like they need a couple more wins as far as hero drops before you squeeze in another Echo character. And if you're gonna do an Echo character, they need to be a big Echo character. So like, if you're doing but I mean anybody I would name wouldn't necessarily be an Echo in that same sense though. So it's like I don't want to say that. What's up, Mr. Clean Kids? How you doing, bro? But yeah, you got so much potential to do more with your hero lineup than you've done. So to say that they've been underwhelming with the people they've released, that's not that's not toxic. That's not you being unfair to the dev team or anything like that. They could have done a lot of things a lot differently. Daredevil with another super chat. Tell CD to do me right in the game. I got you. I'll pass that right along. I'll shout that from the rooftops. But I don't doubt they would. I think they would hold you down. What's good, Arian? How you doing, man? I'm chilling as always, talking about Avengers on a Sunday, as we do. But yeah, it's like, should they do this? I cannot say, because it's like I don't know the numbers that they're looking at behind the scenes. I don't know what their key statistics they're looking for are, and I don't know what the criteria are that they gauge as far as whether this was successful or whether this was unsuccessful or anything like that. I know with the Spider-Man release, that was our first hero event where you just dropped a hero in the game, threw a trailer in with them, a couple of cutscenes, a couple mission beats and things like that, but no new content as far as like new mission content, new villain contents or anything like that. And people had, they got a lot of backlash, but the team was pleased enough with what they were able to do to the point where they did it again with Jane Foster. And again, I have comments from the developers about how this was received and what their plans are with doing events in the future. So it negative reaction doesn't automatically stop what the process is or deter anything or anything like that. It's like they take it into consideration, but at the end of the day, they're going to do what they want to do is ultimately what I'm saying. So it's like, I understand people have mixed feelings about Captain Carter, but at the same time, she's a hot character. Marvel especially could want to push her, so if they want to use her in this game as a kind of gateway to, open her up to bigger audiences. Scott Preacher, man, with another membership. Appreciate you coming back, bro. Always love the support. Thank you so much, man. Like I said, they're going to do it. If Marvel gives them to go ahead or signs off on it or incentivizes them by saying we really want this character in this game, that the chances of her or someone like her being in the game increases exponentially just because they value that partnership. And Marvel has a lot to say in terms of who comes to the game, who doesn't come to the game, and things like that. I only bought one skin in the game. It was the Spider-Man Noir. If they were to release Ghost Rider, I would drop a bag. Hey, we'll come back to spending money in the game a little later in the conversation, because it's like I got thoughts on that. I got some thoughts on that. But moving on to the next person, I feel like has a strong chance of kind of coming to the game, but not as strong as her. John Walker, U.S. agent, whatever you want to call him, Captain America 2.0, whatever you want to call him, it's what it is. Give me one sec. There you go, nephew. You're officially an Avenger, kid. There you go. But yeah, it's like John Walker. I feel like he would be a better sell to some people than Captain Carter, just because he has a longer running history in the comics, and that's what people are familiar with. So again, like I said, the female reception lately in terms of Marvel and the characters they bring into the game hasn't been the best, or there is a negative faction there. So it's like you could easily circumvent that. Gilbert with the super chat, appreciate that, bro. Appreciate the 5. Like I said, man, you guys in the support is insane, man. Like I genuinely appreciate it, and this is why I try to dedicate as much time as I can to just hang out with you guys and give you a place where you can voice your concerns, voice your opinions, all of that stuff, because it's all valid here. I don't try to shut down anybody's opinions. I don't try to tell you you're wrong or you're right. It's not for me to say. I can tell you, a I try to be as objective as I can, and like I said, I try to use my platform to give you guys a platform to speak out and let your opinions and stuff be heard. You never know. You never know where the information goes, who sees it, anything like that. But it's better than just talking into the void. So if no one else hears you, I'll definitely hear you. I'll definitely read what you said and engage with you about it. So like I said, I definitely appreciate you guys' support and engagement always. But like I said, John Walker, like he's another one. He's going to be in the Thunderbolts. He was just in Captain America and the Winter Soldier. Like he's another one who's slowly on the rise, and again, he has enough to offer in terms of gameplay to be a little different and unique from Captain America. So, like I said, you have a shield, but he uses military tactics as well. So he uses guns. He can throw a grenade or something like that. So it's like he would be an option to fuse kind of Captain America and Bucky into one character. So they're probably not going to do Bucky with the Captain America outfit and shield and all of that, but this would be a way to kind of bridge and meet people in the middle as far as delivering on a character that's similar to Captain America, but different enough where he can still he's willing to use guns and things like that, because there are people who are really big on that, and I feel like that would be an avenue they can explore to kind of meet those people in the middle. I love John Walker, especially from the show, but he's definitely not a person you want to have beer with. Yeah, and it's like the reason I say I don't think he has as strong a chance as coming as Captain Carter is because they've shared their opinions on like anti-heroes and villains in the game, and they're leaning more towards getting more heroic and more like definitive heroes into the game. And again, it's just it's their game. They can do what they want to do as long as they get approval and everything. But it's not for us to say what they're doing is right or wrong. We can say how we feel about it. We can choose not to engage with it and everything. But we can't dictate to them what they do with the game. But voicing your concerns, it goes farther than what you would believe. So it's not going to you can't bully them into changing things drastically or anything like that. But they do hear your feedback, especially if you deliver it just in a reasonable way. So instead of coming through lambasting them with just negative comments, things like that, hey, I really didn't like this. I wish you guys would have did this, or I wish you found a way to do something else or something like that. They'll engage with you. They'll read that, and even if they don't engage with you, they will take that and share that with the team. So they don't engage with Reddit all that much, but they definitely read those comments and they definitely share some of that feedback with the team internally. So your opinions are being read, they're being pushed out there and everything like that. So it's just all a matter of what they can do, what they want to do, what players want. It's managing all of that chaos. Moving on to the next person, I think you could see as an echo, as one of the next echoes, Killmonger. Now, Black Panther, he's getting a lot of love lately after his recent buffs. That made his heroics a lot more effective. You're seeing people actually build with them outside of a select niche group of people who are like, hey, I can make any character in this game work. Now, more casual players are able to, find Black Panther a lot more accessible than, they were a month ago. I could tell you the next thing. What's good, Sadat, bro? Hey, if somebody want to pay that bag, man, get that info for us. But yeah, it's like Killmonger. He would be a really dope Echo to have in the game if just to put a different spin on what Black Panther already offers. Um, I don't know how much room they would have to make him different from Black Panther. So it's like you would either have to lean heavily into technology to like he uses completely different technology. Like it'll still be vibranium and Wakandan based, but maybe he uses different weapons in general. So perhaps you don't give him the Kamoyo beads or something. I don't know. I don't know how far they can push the limits with his heroics and everything, but he would be a welcome addition to the game. Outside of the people who don't want any like clone Echo characters in general, people who have said they, at the very least would want a Killmonger skin for Black Panther. So it's like I feel like there's a little wiggle room to kind of squeeze him in and it not be just a complete meltdown and everything. Especially now that Black Panther is in a better place in terms of gameplay. If they fix melee, like if they can make some drastic changes to melee where it's actually effective or just as effective as range, he would definitely be very welcome in the game because now you don't have to limit yourself to throwing spears or whatever his ranged attack would be. So it's like I think he would be dope. I personally would say just go with a skin for him because I don't know if he offers all that much room to be drastically different or different enough from T'Challa in the game. So it's like I don't know, but someone that could be a little more different from T'Challa is Shuri, and I feel like again she has a very strong chance of getting in that pipeline to be one of the next Echo heroes brought to the game. They already announced the next Echo, Winter Soldier. Yeah, I mean, like I said, if they he's gonna get that label regardless. So no matter what they do with him or don't do, he's gonna get stuck with that label anyway. But Shuri, she relies a lot more on technology than T'Challa does, and there's a lot of room to play with that in terms of her gameplay to make her stand out from T'Challa and everything. So I think she could be fun, especially now that they focused on making the heroics and everything a lot more effective. Because when we were originally thinking she was going to be the mystery hero when Miller was first teasing all of that, I was not excited about the possibility of Shuri being brought to the game at all because I'm like Black Panther already is struggling, in terms of gameplay. So to double down on that and add someone else who's going to be struggling with melee is like I don't think that would be the best road to travel. But ultimately it wasn't her. But Black Panther 2 Wakanda Forever is coming out next month. Um, we don't know how it's going to be received in general, but a lot of people are anticipating it. A lot of people are going to show up. I don't know if the run will be as big as it was for the original, with the passing of the actor and everything, and we don't know how they're going to handle all of that in the movie. So there's a lot that we don't know as far as that movie, but it will kind of push Shuri the character into the spotlight a little more than you've seen her in recent years. So you've seen her in different places across the MCU and things, but this movie is really going to put her character on the map in a big way. What's up, Fetty? How you doing? And what's up to anybody else who just popped into the chat? If you guys can, please make sure to slap a like. It definitely helps support the channel, definitely helps support the stream, and I will always appreciate you for it. But yeah, it's like that. She's another person who's going to be a little more mainstream now that she's going to be focused or the center focus of a movie or one of the main focuses of the next movie. What all they can do with her gameplay wise, like I said, she can use different range. So instead of throwing daggers, maybe she shoots. Maybe she used gauntlets or something like that. We don't know. We don't know what they can do in terms of gameplay. Like they don't have to give her the same like Bash Chosen or anything like that. Like I said, just that's where design comes in. So it's like be creative, do what you can do what you do best, and get people who are knowledgeable about the character involved, so you can know what to pull from. Either from the comics or the movies, because they tend to pull from both. So it's like dig deep and try to make these characters more unique. So I feel like if anything they learn with Jane Foster, maybe we have to go a little further, like that extra mile, to make them a little more unique. So maybe throw in one extra, unique heroic if possible, or a little more unique melee combat or something, or unique gear for that person, or maybe introduce a new status effect or something. They have to do something to make them stand out a little more than what they did with Jane Foster, because I just felt like the timing for Jane Foster was bad in and of itself, outside of getting her out ahead of the movie. In relation to the content we've gotten this year, where you got 2.3 and 2.4, which introduced no new content really outside of 2.4, where they added more missions to the wasteland, but it's essentially a lot of the same stuff you've already been doing. So to do that and then introduce a hero who's 90% another hero you already have is like the timing wasn't great. But I think there are lessons they could have learned from that, and if they intend to do this again in the future. Another person I feel like has a really, not a really strong chance, but could be a fun hero to explore, and that would be Red Hulk. I know a lot of people were not fans of Hulk in general, but just like Black Panther, he's a lot more fun to play as after the buffs. He's doing a lot more damage. He's wrecking bosses again. He's clearing rooms with thunderclaps. The Hulk is top tier again, and Red Hulk has enough differences between him and the Hulk to be an interesting, unique hero if they decided to go that route. And they already had some design work and development done for him behind the scenes. He was initially supposed to be a villain, but allegedly they moved away from that and used those resources for the super adaptoids, so like the fire based ones and things like that. But like I said, he falls under the same category of we don't really want to introduce villains, so he doesn't have that strong of a chance. But he has been an Avenger, and he is a general, so it's like you can make a case. You could make a case for him. I don't know if they should with him specifically. Like I know I would enjoy playing with him, like especially if they like he uses guns, he uses fire, he has enough there to play with to make him stand out. I believe that I would enjoy playing with him, but as far as like just general perception, I don't know. I don't know if this is the Echo you choose. I don't know if this is the person you choose to go with. But we don't know. We didn't know about Jane Foster until Miller shared that, and it's like looking at it in hindsight, is like, was that the best move they should have did? Should they have squeezed in a more unique hero or a more well known hero? That argument is always going to be there. But like I said, I wouldn't give him the strongest chance to be one of the people, but he would be a cool addition if they did add him to the game. Yelena, another person who's rising in popularity. She was featured in the Black Widow movie. She was in Hawkeye's Disney Plus show, and she's going to be popping up again in the Thunderbolts when that movie releases. And again, like a lot of people love Yelena. Like the Black Widow movie was designed specifically to make you like this character, to the point where Natasha's character was just kind of, she felt like a side character almost, and it's like you're essentially just elevating the next Black Widow while getting rid of the one we're most familiar with, the one who's been here since the 2000s, the early 2000s, and it's like it's it was a creative choice, I guess. I don't think that was fair, but it is what it is. And like I said, now people are really big fans of Yelena. They really want her. They really like her, and a lot of people were excited about the possibility of seeing her come to Marvel's Avengers. When we didn't know who exactly the new hero was ahead of Jane Foster's reveal. And like I said, there's a case to be made. I I don't know how much different they can make her from Black Widow in terms of gameplay. You can give her a few different gadgets. Maybe she doesn't have the ability to go invisible or something. I don't know. Like I said, that's where um, just joining in. Sorry, Kaz. Want to ask: are we getting a new Echo or just speculations for funsies? Um, so there's been no official announcement of who's coming next outside of Winter Soldier. I'm just simply saying that the odds of you getting another Echo hero in the same vein as Jane Foster are very high. Is what I'm ultimately saying. Because the team did like a lot of what they learned process wise as far as developing heroes, through working on Jane Foster, and it does kind of shorten the workload. So not to the degree most people would believe. So it's not copy and paste, as a lot of narratives would suggest. But as far as designing, it does help them kind of circumvent a lot of the challenges they would face with building a character from the ground up. And again, I think that's something they're going to continue to explore. So they may be more selective with who they choose and when they choose to deliver them. But the question of will you get another hero event that features a Echo character, I think the chances of that are extremely high. So, Brian has said that they don't plan on bumping that number up anytime soon. So the number of like hero events throughout the year, they're gonna keep that at one for the time being. Like they don't currently have any plans to bump that number up, but that one hero event that you do get for the year, the chances of it being an Echo hero, I feel like are pretty high. I'd say you have about a 7 out of 10 chance, but that's my own speculation on that. But again, it's like she's somebody who would be somewhat well received. She's going to divide audiences just because of the fact that she's a female. But just like Shuri, just like Captain Carter, she is seeing a rise in popularity. She is seeing a big push in mainstream media with the movies and the TV shows and everything. And like I said, she has a chance. She has more than a puncher's chance of being included. I know they've already introduced her somewhat in the game as an antagonist, with her, messing with the Red Room and everything, but, you know, that's what narrative is for. So you can explain what that was, why she was doing it, who put her up to it, or, anything like that, and, you move forward. So, to be seen, I guess. But another person who's rising in popularity, who's going to be getting a big push soon, Ironheart. She has a Disney Plus show coming up. She, is greatly inspired by Iron Man. She, another female hero who Marvel has been big on pushing, as of late. So again, she's going to split audiences down the middle. She's going to piss off the people who hate Echoes, who hate the idea of, similar characters being added to the game, all of that stuff. And, but again, she has her fan favorites. She checks off the diversity box in terms of representation and things like that. She checks off a lot of the right boxes that need to be checked off, nowadays. So it's like, I can see it. I can see them giving her a chance, and her being a Iron Man, clone allows them to kind of play with, that. So she's not like War Machine where she, will, just play completely different from, Iron Man. She kind of stays in the same vein as Iron Man. You just can kind of one up it a little bit, so you can add like extra cannons or maybe add nanotech to her gameplay or something like that. So there's room to play with, but it'll still be in the same vein as Iron Man. So she will use, I can see her using lasers and some form of repulsors and things like that, more so than War Machine, where he uses ballistic, ammo and things like that, and missiles and rockets and all of that stuff. So it's like, I feel like there's enough to be different and unique with her while sticking to the main format of Iron Man's design. And again, she's getting the rise in popularity. She's a younger Avenger, so you can slap her alongside Kate Bishop and Kamala. And again, like she checks off those boxes. So again, I'm not saying she's not going to piss people off. I'm not saying people are wrong for being pissed off, especially with people like this jumping the line ahead of people who you really, really, really want to see come to the game. So I'm not saying you're wrong for feeling like that, to a certain degree. But does she have a strong chance? Yes. Um, but MCU, hey, it is what it is, I guess. If they want to sell skins, War Machine should come first. Yeah, and it's like if you get War Machine in the game, then I don't think she's gonna come for a while. So if War Machine is one of the upcoming heroes in 2023, you can scratch her off the list because I don't think they're that short sighted to throw in another Iron Man character in the game that same year when you can focus that time on getting somebody more unique like Falcon or Ant-Man or Doctor Strange or Wanda, who people really, really, really want to see added to the game. So again, like we can wait and see, but yeah, I feel like if War Machine makes it in ahead of her, I feel like whichever one of them makes it in, the other person's, who didn't get selected, their chances of coming to the game get significantly decreased, or they won't come until either the next year or something like that, because I don't see them dropping two Iron Man style characters in the same year, which is what takes us into the next part of this conversation. People who I definitely don't see coming to the game as an Echo at all, even though they would be cool. And it's not to say that they wouldn't be dope additions, and you shouldn't, like, I wouldn't advocate for them or anything like that, because I would. Like, Miles Morales coming to the game and being available for every platform would be amazing. And I feel like that would be a amazing way to kind of appease the people who got played with Spider-Man when he first was introduced and was locked to just one console. So I would do it in a heartbeat. I would green light that. I would be on the phone with Sony right now working on a deal to get Miles Morales Spider-Man on all platforms, just because we owe that to people. I would feel like we owe that to the other platforms to give them something. And again, he's look at that fist. Spider-Man can't do that. Spider-Man can't turn invisible without technology and things like that. So it's like he could be a very unique addition to the game while playing in the same vein as Spider-Man. So you got the sky swinging and everything. He has web shooters and all of that, but again, his web shooters can be different. You can give him different gadgets. He doesn't have to have the drone, so you can give him a different support heroic. Or his support heroic can simply be going invisible. So that's something you can do. His assault can be his venom punch. So it's like his design pretty much writes itself. Like, I don't think it would be nearly as challenging as trying to make like Killmonger different from Black Panther. Like, I feel like that would be a far more challenging task than making Miles Morales stand out from Spider-Man. Like, he's perfectly fit for this game as it is. But do I think he's going to be a person that's considered for Echo? Not at all. Spider-Man is already locked to one platform, so seeing someone come to the game that's not him, but similar to him, that'll be available to all platforms, I don't know. If the wording and the licensing agreement between Avengers and Sony allows for something like that. And I don't think during their initial negotiations, I don't think they bargained for anything like that. As you can see with the handling of Spider-Man, they really didn't look where they leap with that. They kind of just took him on, was like, all right, well, they'll pay us to do it. And then they started dictating when and where he comes and what comes with him and things like that. And if they had a little more foresight, you would have known to negotiate ahead of time for proper skins and additional heroes. So it's like, hey, can we use a villain? Can we use Miles Morales? Can we use Spider-Gwen? Can we, do things in the future with this character? Will you give us the right to do that? That should have been a part of initial agreements and negotiations the second Spider-Man was brought to the table as a possibility. And if no, all right, we might need to move in a different direction because we're going to take a big hit with this. So if we're only going to have Spider-Man on one platform, we got to have something to follow that up. We got to have something to give everybody else. That should have been the thinking during those negotiations. So clearly that wasn't the case. And again, I don't think Miles Morales is on the table as far as a future Echo character. Would he be dope? Yes, he would be absolutely amazing in this game. But again, short-sighted decisions affected that before we even got there. Another person who I don't see coming to the game, Buffalo Bill, Beta Ray Bill. I feel like Jane Foster killed any chance he had of coming to the game. Um, Again, he would be dope. He what could you do different? I mean, there's still things they can do differently with him, I guess. Like he doesn't have to have the Bifrost, but what would his heroic be and things like that? So it's like I don't think they're gonna travel that same road. And again, at best, you should be fighting and hoping for a skin. So let us get a Beta Ray Bill skin for Thor, and call it a day. Make sure Stormbreaker is included because this is nowhere near as hard. This should be feasible. This is simple design changes to the Mjolnir that's already in the game. This is feasible. Doing this with Stormbreaker from the MCU, that's going to be a lot more complicated because he has to two-hand that in some animations and all of that. And it's like I understand why that was challenging for them, and I understand that dealing while working with limited resources, they just didn't have the time to figure something like that out. You would need to bring in somebody with motion cap and all of that for new animations. So it's like I get it. You don't have it in the cards. You didn't have it in the budget. You couldn't make it work. You tried it. I appreciate the fact that you tried, and that's hopefully we can revisit that at some point in the future. Hopefully they get somebody on the side that can work on that or outsource that, whatever it is. But as of right now, like I said, Stormbreaker from the MCU just isn't in the cards, and Beta Ray Bill, like I said, I feel like at best we can hope for a skin with this dude, and like I said, it would be dope, but again, like I said, I don't. After Jane Foster, you can't follow up Jane Foster this year and then next year drop Beta Ray Bill into the game. It's like I just don't see that happening. If the game is still around 2-3 years from now, maybe, but right now or in the near future, I don't think so at all. But getting into some of the comments the developers have made, about this stuff. So this is a comment from Brian Wagner, that he made back during Jane Foster's release. He said, "We have different teams working on different things. 2.3 and 2.4 were very systems design driven. During that time, the hero team was working on Jane, including working on new processes and ways of building heroes that should help us make them quicker in the future." So basically, they learned a lot while working on Jane Foster. And again, they're going to implement that. They're going to use that going forward. And like I said, their team is still expanding. They're still hiring people. They're still hiring enemy design and boss design and things like that. And again, we won't see the benefits of the new hires until sometime next year, where you have more people that can work on more things. And as he says, they have different teams. The people working on war zones aren't the people working on heroes, and that they have to work in tandem to a degree. So it's like ideally you would have multiple teams working on multiple things. So multiple war zone teams, multiple hero teams. So while Jane Foster is being worked on, Bucky could have and should have already been in production. That way you can release these heroes in tandem. So Jane drops 1 month, and then we get the No Rest for the Wicked villain sector, but Bucky comes with that instead of Cloning Labs, which would have made a lot more sense because Cloning Lab is just that's content you won't even be able to participate in that content with Bucky when it drops. So to tie in the new hero with the new villain sector that he ties into the story, and then by the time you roll out Cloning Labs, most people or some people, a few people will have Bucky ready, and then you feature him prominently during that story, and you're good. But you know, let me catch up on chat. What about Sam Alexander Nova? So one, he wouldn't be a clone of anybody because there's nobody in the game who currently plays like that. So like if they had Captain Marvel in the game and they wanted to use her to base his gameplay off of, then yeah. But if they brought Nova to the game right now, he would be a completely unique character. Like he wouldn't be a copy or echo of anybody. Spider Woman Jessica Drew, I can see her. She come way different than Spider Man. So yeah, it's like I said, I don't know how the rights for her or just Spider based characters in general work with Marvel, Sony, and gaming. So I don't know. I feel like she will probably have a better chance than Miles, simply because she's been a lot more unique than Miles Morales versus Spider Man, and Sony have been doing major pushes with Spider Man and Miles Morales in recent years. You got Spider Man 2 coming up next year, so it's like I don't know if they can get the rights for something like that, and I don't know how Spider Woman plays into the licensing with all of that. But I feel like she would be dope. I feel like she would definitely be a fan favorite. Like she's one of the OG characters from the comics that a lot of people are familiar with, a lot of people are fans of, and those kind of characters are the people that fans are asking them to kind of lean more into instead of giving us more modern, characters like Kate Bishop and Kamala. But like a wise purple man, from a planet called Titan, once said, "All things must be perfectly balanced," and I think that's something that the development team behind Avengers should try to focus more on going forward. So it's like you give people a very high demand character, you give people a more modern character that you want to do your own spin on, and then you give people someone who's just in the middle or an even bigger character. So like, and this is just spitballing, but so like you can start off next year with like you can do War Machine. So you can start the year off with War Machine. That's not a massive design challenge for the team or anything like that. And this is an OG character from the comics and the movies and everything that people are familiar with, people are fans of. And all right, so it's not he's not going to be a clone. He's going to have unique gameplay and everything. And then from that, you can follow it out with another hero. So I would say do an Ant-Man after that. So you do War Machine and then you drop Ant-Man in the game, who has completely unique gameplay. He's not a copy of anybody, and that's your middle of the road hero for the year. You get what I'm saying? And you drop Ant-Man in the hero event. So we use the hero event format to get him into the game. He got a mission chain, he got cutscenes and all of that stuff, but it's Ant-Man. So he nobody in the game plays like Ant-Man outside of being able to use PIM technology to shrink enemies. That's about it. And then from there, your big end of the year hero could be Captain Marvel. She comes in with a raid, Kree invasion, all of that good stuff, and she plays completely unique. And she's bigger than both War Machine and Ant-Man in terms of being recognizable and being a big name, hard hitting powerhouse hero. That's a year. That's a year for you. You get what I'm saying? You got War Machine. Didn't challenge the design team too much because you should already be familiar with what he can do, and you have an Iron Man suit design in the game already. So you just add to that. So you add guns to that. You add you got assault rifles and things in the game already from War Machine and Black Widow. So it's like you take the rockets from Hulkbuster. You get what I'm saying? You use what you have, but you make it completely new for a character. And again, it's not that it shouldn't be as challenging as designing Ant-Man, who you really have to dig deep to figure out how you want to present him, how his size shifting is going to work, because with him going giant, you can just take from Kamala, But as far as like, do you give him the ability to shrink? If you do, how does that work? So does he shrink down and the camera perspective change with him, or is his shrinking simply a part of his melee? So he shrinks down, jumps around and punches people or something like that. You get what I'm saying? Like, does he shrink down to fly? Because he can fly on ants and bees and things like that. How does he incorporate all of that into his heroics? How does his heroics work? All of that stuff is a lot more challenging than what you would deal with War Machine, who's allegedly already pretty designed in the game. They just would have to really get the ball rolling on getting him in the pipeline to come to the game fully. And then with Captain Marvel, again, that's you have designs for her. You have her hero design and everything. And for gameplay, there's more than enough to pull from to make her unique. So she's not going to fight like anybody in the game. So yes, you got flyers like Thor and Iron Man, but she's going to fly a little different than them. Her flying combat is going to be different from theirs. Her range combat is going to be different from theirs. Her melee is going to feel a lot different from theirs, and then her heroics should be completely unique from anything you currently have in the game. Like she can, fire a plasma beam from her hands or cosmic beams from her hands. She can buff herself. She can, she should be able to buff other heroes, and then her ultimate, she goes bionic, and there you go. That's it. You get what I'm saying? It's like there's so much there to play with, and again, I feel like that would be a very solid lineup for this game. You want to swap out Ant-Man with She-Hulk? Again, you can. That's going to cause negative reception. Outside of War Machine, with the initial claims that he's going to be a clone, I feel like that rotation would be a win, but you're still going to get negative feedback. And of course, because there are people who really want Scarlet Witch, they really want Doctor Strange. So when you see other people ahead of them, they're going to be like, well, why aren't they? Or why don't they just do this? Or where's Doctor Strange? Where's Wanda? Where's this? Where's that? Everybody has somebody they want. Even if you give Doctor Strange and Scarlet Witch and Captain Marvel for the next heroes for next year, you're going to have people like, oh, well, I want Venom. I want Wolverine. I want Ghost Rider. I want Silver Surfer. I want the Fantastic Four. You want everybody who's not in this game. And it's like that conversation just isn't going to change. But, hey, you got to kind of roll with the punches, I guess. But that lineup I just listed of War Machine, Ant-Man, and Captain Marvel, and if you can squeeze in a fourth, do so. So, like, if you can squeeze in Captain Carter as the fourth, hero who's the Echo, I feel like that everybody else softens the blow of that. You get what I'm saying? So it's like it's not as detrimental to your lineup as reworks a Echo and then Winter Soldier at the end of the year. So you essentially only got 1.5 heroes for the year. So I understand people being upset by that. I understand people being disappointed with that, especially coming off the year you had prior where you got Hawkeye, Black Panther, and Spider-Man, but technically you got 2.5 heroes because only a third of the platforms or the player base can actually, use that new hero. And it's like, after you did that, the next hero you brought to the game was somebody who was primarily Thor. And it's like, I would have questioned that. I would have said, is this what we really want to do? Because I feel like something that's not a big enough priority for the team currently is changing the narrative around the game, changing the negative perception around the game. So yeah, some people are going to be negative no matter what. What's up, Brazil? Appreciate you coming through. Good morning to you as well. I don't think they're doing enough to combat the negativity and the negative perceptions around the game. And I feel like in some cases they're actually giving the people who are negative about the game the ammo they need to take the shots that they want, because you just shouldn't do and say certain things. So like in the interview with Forbes about the Winter Soldier, I mean, it's like you're being honest, but saying that Bucky's going to have elements of Black Widow and Captain America, because I know you've seen the comments about Winter Soldier is basically going to be Echo or a copy of Black Widow and Captain America. You shouldn't do that. Like there's no way I would have added that or said that in that interview just because I'm not fueling it. I'm not going to give anything to that narrative because people don't care. Oh well, once we get our hands on them, it's not what we said it was going to be. They just care about the narratives, and now that the narrative is there, they're just going to double down on that. So for like a lot of people, Spider-Man is just ass. Spider-Man doesn't work well. He's buggy. He's this. He's trash compared to Fortnite. He's trash compared to Insomniac Spider-Man and all this stuff without actually having played him or anything like that because that's the narrative. That's all anybody cares about. So combating that, doing things to kind of mute the narrative and take away from the narrative and force that narrative down is something I feel like they can do a little more both with in terms of marketing and just their strategy for what they bring to the game and how they bring it to the game. And like I said, Jane Foster coming on the heels of Spider-Man, who most people didn't get their hands on. Like most people are still pissed about Spider-Man to this day. They're still pissed about that. They're still salty about that. And then you gave them more ammo with, oh well, they gave us Jane Foster, and then it's like Spider-Man. He doesn't get any skins. He doesn't get a shipment skin. He doesn't get anything. He's not getting MCU skins. He's not getting anything. So it's like, what was the point of that? Who did you help with doing this? Because it's like the fact that he's exclusive is it's like a curse at this point, and it's like it's being used more to justify not doing anything for him versus all right, well, for the people who do have them, here you go. Oh well, we can't do shipments for him because everybody has access to shipments and everybody doesn't have access to Spider-Man, so he can't be there. Okay. All right, well, we're having problems getting licensing for his MCU skins and everything like that, and maybe we're not fighting all that hard because again, he's only on one platform, so we can put that time towards getting people resources and MCU skins who are on every platform. So it's like, what was the point of this move? And I just think moves like that and the short-sightedness are what shoots them in the foot when it comes to marketing and branding for the game. And that continues to fuel the negative conversations around the game in terms of, oh, well, this game is this, or they're lazy, they're this, they're that, they're this, that. Because people don't really care about the details. People don't care about the specifics. People don't care about what's right and wrong. Brad Bergama with the sub. Appreciate you becoming an Avenger. But yeah, it's like people, you can do more. You can do more to combat that. So if all we can do is squeeze out 2 heroes in a year, so we're only going to have enough time left in a year to squeeze out 2 heroes. Winter Soldier should have came in the summer. And if you only can do 2, Captain Marvel should have been the last hero for this year. So you do the Kree invasion this year and get that crap out of the way, bro. Because no one's that excited for Cloning Lab, or no one is as excited for Cloning Lab as they are for the Kree invasion. So you should have been working on the Cloning Lab stuff early in the year. So that should have hit in the summer. Bucky should have hit in the summer. And then for the end of the year, we're working on Captain Marvel and a raid. Because we need the win. We really need the win. We could use the win. We can use the publicity going into next year. We can build some excitement going into next year because now that Captain Marvel is here, that opens the road for other people. So now we shouldn't have to wait as long for Doctor Strange. Now we shouldn't have to wait as long for Scarlet Witch. And it's like that excitement is what you need and to bring people into the game. So you're still going to bring people in the game no matter who you drop. But when people hear, oh, they're being lazy, or they're just doing this, or they're just doing echoes, or they're just doing that, that steers them off. And the only way beyond that to get people to really pick this game up and try it is to make it free. And like I said, we're going to be talking about free to play real soon because that's something I feel like they genuinely have to start considering at this point, because you're doing a lot to bring in newer players, but again, you still have this negative connotation over anything Avengers related. So when Bucky comes, make no mistake, he's going to be bombarded with negative criticism and negative opinions about how he looks, what he does, what he doesn't do. they could have did this. They took all this time just to do that. It's going to be a part of the conversation, whether it's fair or not. It's going to be there. Clone Labs is going to be extremely scrutinized because it took them over 2 years to get that. They put it on the roadmap and or said it was going to be on the roadmap. You got gameplay footage of people who got a chance to play it, and all of this stuff, and then you completely yanked it away and was like, we'll reintroduce it later, and then people are going to get in there. Oh, this is ass. This is this. They wasted our time. They're doing this. This game is dead. It's like all of that's still going to be there. Neither of these releases are going to change that. So Bucky's not going to change the narrative around this game. Clone Lab isn't going to change the narrative around the game. And I feel like that's something they really should start looking to combat with some of their releases and some of their branding strategies. Because, again, it's more fun to hate on the game at this point, is what it seems like. Because you have people who don't play the game. Like, they'll tell you, like, I uninstalled, or man, I haven't logged in a month, or I haven't even played Jane. But they're showing up every week to get their opinion on what's coming to the game or what isn't coming to the game, or oh, this skin is trash, this, that, and the other. What's up, Reginald? What did you miss? Did I talk about our boy? You know I gotta talk about War Machine. So for the people who just popped in, we'll do a brief recap. So let's take it to the top. So we're talking about people who you can see show up as echoes. You got Sharon Carter, aka Captain Carter, who I feel like has a really strong chance of being a person you see show up as the next Echo, in the same vein as Jane Foster, simply because of her recent rise in popularity, with Marvel's What If and her appearance in Multiverse of Madness. And I think she offers, some unique gameplay mechanics that would be fun and a little, just offers enough room to explore to make her different from Captain America as he currently is in the game. So you can slap a jetpack on her, give her a gun, and she's different from Captain America, but you obviously will have to do more with heroics and things like that. But she could be a fun addition to the game. You got John Amari with the sub. Appreciate that, bro. Thank you for supporting the channel and becoming an Avenger. And for anybody who just popped in, make sure to slap a like on the stream. It definitely helps support it. But yeah, you got John Walker, U.S. agent. Again, they're not looking to do villains and anti-heroes, or so they've said, but that can change. And again, this is somebody who doesn't require a lot design-wise because he's primarily Captain America. He just uses a gun. And, you can give him different melee combat and things like that, a different heroics, or maybe he pulls out a bazooka or something like that. We don't know. But I feel like my best case for him was you can kind of bridge Captain America's gameplay with Winter Soldier's gameplay, and you have, U.S. Agent. And I think that would be fun for a lot of people. And I think he would be better received than Captain Carter, but I feel like Captain Carter has a much stronger chance of actually getting into the game than U.S. Agent. And then you got Killmonger, who, again, I don't feel like he has a very strong chance of getting into the game, but it's... Again, it's like with Black Panther's recent buffs and everything, I feel like that would make people a little more receptive to another melee character coming to the game because they've improved heroics at the very least, and they've spoke about improving melee in the future. So, we don't know when that's going to take place or anything like that, but there's optimism around that. So yeah, Killmonger, like I said, I say at the very least he should be a skin for Black Panther. That would be cool. But I could see him, as an Echo if they choose to change their stance on villains and anti-heroes coming to the game. But Shuri, I feel like has a much stronger chance of coming in, in the same vein of Black Panther. And again, she's had a recent rise in popularity, and she's going to be featured prominently in the new Wakanda Forever movie. So again, she's going to become more of a household name, and Marvel has been shown to want to capitalize on that. So you got Kate Bishop way ahead of her show, her Disney Plus show, or Hawkeye's Disney Plus show. You got Kamala. They used her in the game to kind of, propel her popularity with general audiences. And I can see them doing the same with Shuri. Red Hulk, Again, he's been known to be an anti-hero slash villain, and I don't know how strong of a chance he would have, but he would be dope, and he offers a little more unique gameplay from the Hulk to warrant actually being brought into the game. So it's like I would be all about it. I would accept it, but again, he falls under that. Well, I mean, everybody would be met with the echo, negativity and reception, but there he has some design work in the game, and like I said, with his fire abilities and his willingness to use guns, you can make him different enough from the Hulk. You got Yelena, another person who's on the rise popularity wise. She's been in shows, she's been in movies, and she has the Thunderbolts movie coming up soon. Like I said, she's been shown to be more of a hero as of late than anti-hero, even though in the game she's kind of been pegged as a villain or an antagonist to the Avengers. That can change with narrative and writing, so who knows. But yeah, I would give her a pretty solid chance of being a person you see come to the game in the future. I don't know how different they can make her from Black Widow in terms of gameplay, but that's for the design team to figure out. Ironheart. Again, I was saying with Ironheart, I feel like she's on the rise in popularity, just like Shuri, just like Yelena, just like Captain Carter. And she has a Disney Plus show coming up. She checks off a lot of boxes. She checks off the representation and diversity box. She's a young up and coming female Avenger and all of that. So it's like she's everything they would want essentially. But I feel like if you get War Machine in the game ahead of her, you're not getting Ironheart, or you're not getting Ironheart anytime soon, and vice versa. So if they bring Ironheart to the game next year as the Echo Hero, that kind of sucks all the gas out of the chances of seeing War Machine come to the game until at least the year beyond. So you wouldn't see War Machine until 2024 if he had a chance of coming. But who knows? We'll have to wait and see how everything plays out. Miles Morales, I was saying while he would be a great addition to the game, I don't think he's coming, at all because of the licensing agreement between Avengers, Crystal Dynamics, and Marvel and Sony, and I feel like he would be a great way to appease the players who were wrong with the release of Spider-Man when he was exclusive to PlayStation, so Xbox and PC players never got a chance to use him, making Miles Morales a hero who's accessible to every platform while having and offering unique gameplay that makes him stand out from Spider-Man. I feel like that would be one of the biggest gestures this game could do, and that would generate a lot of goodwill with the community that just wasn't there or hasn't been there since the game's launch. So it's like something like this would be big. I just don't see them I don't see them doing it, and I don't think they've been prioritizing doing stuff like that, a whole lot, in general. And I hope they do that going forward, like really start to think about turning the narrative around for the game overall. Beta Ray Bill is another character I don't think is coming to the game at all because you already got Jane Foster, and I feel like she killed any chance you would have had of getting him in the game. And he hasn't seen a major rise in popularity, although OG comic fans would be over the moon to have him. I just don't see it in the cards. At best, I feel like you should hope for a skin, and that's something you probably should campaign for. Dante is in the game. Yeah, he's one of the Inhumans you interact with during the story. But yeah, and then pushing on to developer quotes. Brian said this when Jane Foster dropped. He was talking about different teams working on different things, and how 2.3 and 2.4 were very system design driven, and that during that time of working on Jane, they worked on new processes and ways of building heroes that should help them make heroes quicker in the future. So the goal is to get more heroes quicker, and they've shared that they have 2 new heroes currently in development. That's something Brian shared during this time as well. the Winter Soldier was in development while Jane Foster was dropping, and the next two heroes are currently in development. Now that we're getting closer to the release of Winter Soldier, so they want to roll them out quicker. We just don't know exactly what quicker looks like, and as far as like villain sectors and mission content in between, I feel like if it's not several villain sectors or several war zones, they should probably scratch that. So don't dedicate a update to dropping one new villain sector into the game, because it's like that's not going to be received well, especially by your veteran players who are blowing through every piece of content they can get their hands on. Which again, I've said in the past, like that's on you. Like you have to recognize you can't keep playing the game like that and then getting mad at them because they can't meet your expectations for content, because so many people are waiting for Cloning Labs to drop so that they can blow through that day one. I want to blow through Cloning Labs just to see how fast I can do it. And it's just an OLT. It's not a raid. It is not a raid, so it's not going to take nearly as long as it took, to initially get through the raid and figure out all those mechanics and things like that. It's not a raid, it's an OLT. So you're gonna have, different sets to get through. You're gonna have different waves, different bosses, different, maybe you gotta stand on a platform or two, but it's not gonna be nowhere near as deep as a raid. And the villain sector isn't gonna be nowhere near as deep as OLT. So it's like, to go in with the mindset of I'm gonna blow through this as fast as I possibly can. So when people get their hands on Bucky, I'm gonna level him up as fast as I can, as soon as I can. I'm gonna get his champion levels to 375. I'm gonna grind gear, and then in a week or two, I'm going to be bored with this game again because there's nothing new for me to do, and I won't have anything new to do for at least a couple months, possibly, because they're going on break in December. And we don't know when they're coming back next year. It could be January, it could be February. We don't know. They didn't start talking until February of this year, and that's just talking. They didn't release anything. They didn't give you anything. That was just them communicating. So we're back. We're working on a roadmap that never came. That's what you got at the start of this year. So to blow through something that's coming in probably November and have to be held over until maybe March of next year. Think about what you're setting yourself up for. Think about what you're doing to yourself. That's all I'm saying. It's going to take you a few weeks to get Bucky up to 175 just to get him into Cloning Lab and everything. Don't blow through that. Take your time with it. Pace it. Pace yourself. That's all I'm saying. Play other games in between. You got Gotham Knights dropping. We're going to be talking about that soon. You got Midnight Suns coming. You got God of War. Play something else in between time. So do your dailies and get off the game and get out of that. Stop burning yourself out on the content and on the game itself and then getting mad at the developers on the back end because they can't meet that high demand of, content releases. It's only so much they can do. They only have so many hands on deck. They're trying. They're doing their best. Could they do better? Of course, everybody can, but, this is what they're able to do. And it's like blowing through the content as fast as you can isn't helping you or them in any capacity. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, the goal is to get content out quicker. So they want to get more villains in the pipeline and more villains into the game quicker. They want to get more environments and more missions into the game quicker. They want to get more heroes into the game quicker. Wanting to do it and having a way to do it and executing that are very different things. And they take very different things. Like, you can want them to do it all you want to. They can want to do it all they want to. But if you don't have any extra people to help get this done, it's just not going to happen. And again, we don't know what other barriers they face behind the scenes. I know, I guarantee you that after the recent breach at Rockstar Gaming, their jobs just got a lot harder as far as protecting against outside leaks and information being breached. Just off the fact of, and on top of the fact it was already hard because they're working from home. So most of them are working remotely. So that means when you email and everything, that has to be encrypted. There's a whole process you have to go through just to communicate within the team because you're remote. You get what I'm saying? And you don't want this information getting out there. You don't want that going to the wrong places. You don't want the wrong people getting their hands on it and stuff like that. And all of that has just been increased drastically just based off the fact that a major studio suffered a major leak. Their code was leaked. All of this stuff has happened, and it's like that put the industry in general on high alert, because Rockstar Games isn't a new studio. They're not a small studio. They're not up and coming. They've been here for a while, and they're like, okay, well, if that can happen to them, we got to make damn sure it doesn't happen to us. And if we are already being careful, we got to be 10 times more careful, because we can't afford that. We just can't afford it. And it's like, you got to factor stuff like that in. So it's like, it's cool to want things. It's cool to want them to do better, do faster. They want to. It's just all about getting to a point where you actually can. Another quote. We have some really cool villains in the pipeline and some really amazing narrative being put together. I get chills thinking about it. I have big goals for the next 12 to 18 months and beyond. So they're thinking big picture. They're thinking long term. They're thinking future, forward and all of that stuff. How you get there, will you have the time to get there? All of that stuff depends on execution and what you do. But they know you want villains in the game. They know you need new people to fight. They know this. This isn't lost on them. I guarantee you they've heard you shouting that from the mountaintops on Twitter and Reddit and Discord and everywhere else you can, get that message out. They've heard it. They just haven't been able to do anything about it because they only have so many people in the game or working on the game. I'm looking forward to Gotham Knights in 2 weeks and afternoon to UCW. Appreciate you coming through. Make sure you slap a like if you can. Definitely help support the channel. But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to Gotham Knights. I've been enjoying Elden Ring. Since 2.6 dropped. Like I played 2.6 a little. I got through the villain sector and everything. It's not really. It's not. There's not enough depth there to really appease veteran players. So it's like, and again, that's partly on me because I didn't really explore anything. I just blew through the content. So I'm not saying don't blow through the content as if I'm talking down to you. I'm telling you, like, that's something I realized about myself from personal experience. Like we can't keep doing this, guys. We gotta pace it. Dragonheart, your boy, appreciate the sub. Not the sub, the super chat. Keep up the good work. Appreciate you, bro. I'll do my best, and as long as you guys support it, I'll always be here, bro. But we can't keep doing this. You got to take accountability for your role in this. So if you're blowing through the content, bro, it's only so much you can do. It's only so much they can do. We got to relax, pace it, play something else. Elden Ring is fun. I won't stream it, but I've been having a lot of fun playing with friends with that. Personally, not hyped for Gotham Knights, but I might get it down the road. I'm going to try to sell you guys on that. So I know a lot of people may not just be well informed about the game in general. So we're going to do some breakdowns about what we know about the game, what's coming to the game, what the in-game content is going to look like. You may see some familiar faces pop up in the game. We're going to be breaking all of that down. So expect a deep dive into what we know about Gotham Knights in the near future. We will be starting to get into that very soon. But yeah, you just got to give them some time, and as you can see here, they want to. So them wanting to isn't the issue. Can they do it? Are things hindering them from doing more or doing what they want to do? That's what, and like I said, then it also comes down to leadership decisions, proper vision, proper execution, things like that. Is like it's a lot that you have to factor in. Is Elden Ring harder than Dark Souls, or is it kind of easy? I haven't really played any of the Dark Souls games, so I'm not the authority on that. But it's pretty decent for me. Like there are several bosses who are challenging, even with friends. Missed Anniversary with the sub. Appreciate that, bro. Thank you for becoming an Avenger. Speaking of anniversaries, my 1 year anniversary on YouTube is coming up in 10 days. So I got to figure out something big to do for that. And again, appreciate you guys so much for all the support you've shown. It's just insane. But yeah, it's like, Elden Ring is cool. It's dope. It's something to do in between time. Like before that, if I didn't feel like playing Avengers, I would do something else. So it's like I'm editing or something like that, or I'm researching something, or I'm watching something fun. I do other things to kill time and other things I enjoy with my time. But hey, it's all good. Appreciate that, Rebel saying. Like I said, it's been a journey, bro, and it's like I've learned a lot, and I'm more humbled, just by understanding that, with a platform you have to be careful with what you do and what you say and how you interact with people and things like that. And like I said, seeing so many people being receptive, seeing so many people just just really feel comforted by by the things that I say, because I don't try to oversell things. I don't try to, scare you guys. I don't spread narratives and things like that. If I don't know what I'm talking about, I don't talk about it. Or, I don't talk about it before researching it or looking into it or having something to support what I'm saying. I don't just, get up here and start talking out of my neck. I say what I know, or I say what I feel, and if I feel it, I'll let you know. Like, this is simply what I think and feel. So this isn't supported it by anything per se, and I always try to be clear about that. But like I said, I appreciate you guys' support immensely. Um, so here's another quote. I talked to my lead producer today about what I want to do with our next hero versus what we did with Jane. I think Spider-Man's heroic mission chain was a really good middle ground, and I'd like to get back to that. That isn't a promise or anything, just what I want to get done for the next one. So a lot of people have been asking about like Bucky's story presentation and how that's going to be handled and things like that. And as you can see here, they really liked what they did with Spider-Man. They really liked how they handled Spider-Man's story in the game, and again, that's something you have to consider. So a lot of people, felt like Spider-Man's story was really lacking, but you got cutscenes, you got audio logs, you got character interactions, things like that, and they thought that was pretty good. So the idea that you're going to see more of that or more stories handled like that in the future, I wouldn't be surprised by it. I feel like there's a very high probability that's how Bucky's mission content and story is going to be presented in the game. So his story will probably revolve around Cloning Lab without him actually engaging in Cloning Lab himself, or you being able to actually play with him in Cloning Lab, because it's just they. I think they just paired him with that just as the in-game content or the end of the year content, just like the raid and Spider-Man. So Spider-Man wasn't tied into the raid at all. Spider-Man's story has nothing to do with the raid. And with Bucky and Cloning Lab, they saw an opportunity to, all right, well, let's give his story a little meaning by having him be a big part of bringing down AIM. And it's like, it's fine, I guess it works. I'm interested in seeing the presentation because, again, when they said they're not doing operations and expansions anymore, that had a lot of people like, okay, well, what the hell? I actually enjoyed the story. I like the campaigns and stuff like that. Oh no, you're still getting a story. You're still getting a story. So how that story is going to be told, how that story is going to be presented, you're gonna get a big glimpse into that when you see how Bucky is presented in this game. So what his story trailer looks like, if he has actual CG cutscenes and not just motion comics, it's gonna be very telling. And again, if people aren't liking what they see, that only sets up the next hero for more scrutiny, because they're like, all right, well, now they're just cutting corners with this. You completely went away from operations, which had a ton of story beats and cutscenes, and now you're just giving us motion comics. Like Jane Foster's story presentation was non-existent for the most part. Like, you got a motion comic, but she had no in-game cutscenes. Like you don't trigger any cutscenes or anything like that by talking to somebody. It's like they really took the minimalist approach with her presentation. And again, I think they learned from that, based on this comment here where he says, he was just talking to the producer about what he wants to do with the next hero versus what they did with Jane. So I don't think they're going to present any heroes the way they did Jane, where we just do the absolute bare minimum we can. So we just slap audio logs in the game and slap a motion comic cutscene together, and that's it. That's the story presentation. It's like, I don't think they're going to do that anymore, because yeah, you have to give people something, especially when you've already set them up for the expectation that you're going to deliver a story. And when new heroes come to the game, you tied every character to a major story when they came to the game. So Kate Bishop came with a major story beat. Hawkeye came with a major story beat that sets up future ramifications in the story. Black Panther came with a whole story, a whole side story essentially, a new region, and then you got a raid to wrap up that story content. And then it's like with Jane Foster and Spider Man. With Spider Man, at the very least, like I said, you got a story. You know why he's in the game and everything like that, and you got cutscenes. And they at the end they wrap it up to where it makes sense for him to still be running around the ship, but you also don't expect him to appear in cutscenes and things like that in the future because he's limited to one platform and they're just not going to do that. So again, it's like he's cursed because he's console exclusive. It seems like more of a detriment than a benefit at this point. But yeah, you're going to see more stories like be presented like Spider-Man than you are with Jane Foster. And again, how exactly they go about doing that is going to set the tone for every hero coming after that. And it puts a cloud over Captain Marvel because it's like if anybody should come with an expansion, it should be Captain Marvel. Like doing an expansion for Black Panther was warranted. He comes with a whole unique country, um, biomes, and all of that stuff to explore. New villains, all of this stuff is being introduced with him, and to do the same with Captain Marvel just seems to make sense because you got Kree enemies, you got Kree sentries, you have they should add Ronan the Accuser as the main antagonist, hopefully, but we don't know. I can't definitively say that, and I don't want to oversell that. But I feel like there's enough there to justify and warrant putting time and resources towards delivering a new biome and new environments to explore, new enemies, and all of that stuff. If for no one else, Captain Marvel, justifies that time and effort. And if you really want to make it worth it, just sell it. Sell that pre-order for early access to Captain Marvel or something like that would make them a ton of money. Forget the narrative around the game. That people buy stuff in this game. People buy skins. That Captain America Hydra skin that they just dropped, or Secret Empire inspired skin that they just dropped, that everybody has been taking a dump on. If they put that in the marketplace, it's going to sell. It's not going to sell as well as the actual skin if they would have made it accurate to the comics. But there are going to be people who would have bought that skin. That's just how the game works. People are going to buy stuff. People will buy this stuff. So what you think is ugly or what you think is dumb, a couple somebodies is willing to pay for that. And that's why you saw recolors so prominently displayed in the marketplace for so long, because people were buying it. People were being negative about it, but people were buying it. And I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm just simply saying it's a thing. And I know they're committed to not selling content to players, but from a profit standpoint, and to justify the resources that would have to go into making that content, you should. It's that's as objective as I can be. You should sell that content. So $20, $15, $30, whatever the price point is, there should be one on that content. And if you want to take a step further, hey, you can pre-order. You can pay extra to get Captain Marvel early. So she won't have a story. You won't get her story day one, but you'll have access to it. So you can start leveling her up ahead of her story dropping into the game or something. That people would pay for that. That would be huge. That would be huge. But again, I don't dictate to them what they should and shouldn't do. I think that would be something. I think that's worth exploring, is all I'm saying. So, sticking to story presentation, cutscenes with a lot of movement or action are very time intensive and labor intensive. Ones like before the raid where heroes are standing and just talking to each other are not as intensive. The difficulty there is being able to get all the voice actors together that we need when we can. Our actors are all so good, and because of that, in high demand and are very busy. So they've been bragging on Twitter recently about sitting in on voice acting sessions with tons of actors and stuff like that. So scenes where they're all standing around the war table talking, I feel like they're definitely going to be present in Cloning Lab, and I feel like that's going to be a big part of Cloning Lab's presentation as far as cutscenes. And I feel like you're going to get a couple in-game rendered cutscenes like when you get to MODOK and when you defeat MODOK and things like that. So you will have cutscenes with Cloning Lab. We just don't know how extensive they'll be, and we don't know how the cutscenes for Bucky are going to be handled. But I think it's safe to say you will get them. And as you can see here, they're just being, more selective with when and how they use them, because they are, they can be, very time intensive and labor intensive. So that's a lot of time and energy dedicated towards getting cutscenes together for something that you're essentially just watching, but it's also very engaging for players who want to be immersed in the world and they like to see these things play out. Like Ultimate Alliance had some of the best cutscenes, for that time period, because you you love these players. I mean, you love these characters. So seeing, Captain America, Spider-Man, Wolverine, and Thor defend the helicarrier in a cutscene that's fully rendered and all of this stuff is cool. It's nothing but cool. But I understand that also takes a lot of work. But to this day, I remember the cutscenes from Ultimate Alliance, because they were that good. They were that engaging. Seeing Nightcrawler, seeing Doctor Doom taking down different heroes when they were trying to stop him once he had Odin's powers. That's engaging for players. That's what people show up for. That expands the audience immensely, because people love the story. People love story presentation. And because you're not selling it, it makes it hard to justify it, which the obvious answer or solution would be, okay, we have to sell this. But they're like, okay, we're not going to sell it. We're just not going to do it that much. And it's like, I get it. You have to make cuts where you can, and you have to do what makes sense. But I feel like communicating that we have to sell you stuff outside of the marketplace to justify the things that you want. So if you're a single player who only wants single player content, we can do that. We can deliver that, but we have to sell you that. You have to be willing to pay for that. Now, if you ask for it, we do it, and you don't buy it, all right, we know not to do that again. But if you show up for it, if you're willing to pay for it, we're willing to give it to you. We're willing to put the time and energy into giving you that content. You just have to pay for it, because it's not cheap. And we have to be able to justify that at the end of the day, because that time and energy could be spent doing something else. I wouldn't have a problem paying for stuff in the game, because I know the game, needs marketplace interaction to survive, to keep going. It's simply that. If they're gonna make cutscenes that are in-game rendered, then at least put your all into it. I feel like that's what the new villain sector didn't do compared to other cutscenes. Yes, like one, I just don't think that the cutscenes in the new villain sector are functioning properly, and I think that's something you're gonna see patched in the next update. So 2.6.1 is probably going to introduce some fixes to the cutscenes for that mission, as well as fixes to the boss fight. Because she poses the clones aren't spawning and things like that. So that's something I think they're definitely going to have a look at and try to squeeze into this next patch update ahead of 2.7. I really would like more cutscenes with different suits on. Yeah, it's like that's so many people run straight back to the campaign to show off new suits and the cutscenes and everything, and it's like, I get it. People. That's what made the story so enjoyable. Just sitting back, taking in these character interactions and stuff. Through these beautiful cutscenes, and it's like the campaign was justified because you actually were selling the game at that time, so people paid for that. That experience and everything, and then the in-game stuff is extra, and you're not charging for in-game stuff, so it's hard to justify putting that the time and resources towards something that you're not seeing a return on, just from a business economic standpoint. Like, I can't knit or make you sweaters. So if I'm making merchandise, I'm making really good merchandise. I'm not shortcutting or cheaping or anything like that. There's high quality shirts, high quality hats, and all of that stuff. But I'm just giving it to you. I can't afford to keep that up. You get what I'm saying? I'll be out of business, very soon, because it's just not a strong business model. It doesn't make sense. Casual, why don't we have the Captain America suit from Avengers: Age of Ultron and Civil War? They haven't got around to it. You know, eventually you'll probably see it. Hopefully, because it doesn't offer that much variety from some of his current skins. Maybe they can justify putting that in the shipments or something. Just to kind of. It's been a while since we got a new MCU skin in the shipments. So something like that, I feel like would be a really good addition or a good place for the shipments. So hopefully, but as to why you haven't gotten it, as of right now, I cannot say. Um, Yeah, so back then, the day that Jane Foster dropped, I asked him, will they be doing hero events once a year, or do they intend to bump that number up in the future? And he said, I think we have a good rotation of events now. No plans to add any new ones right now, but you never know. So again, you at the very least, you're going to get one. You're going to get one hero event a year going forward. So 2021, we got Spider-Man. 2022, we got Jane Foster. 2023, we don't know who we're gonna get, but it's a high probability that you're gonna get somebody. You're definitely gonna get somebody. In time, this game will get immensely better. Just be patient. I mean, I don't want to tell people to be patient because it's like you going on year 3 and you haven't seen major changes that, especially if you've been here since day one. So it's like as a day one player looking at the game, your perspective and your viewpoint is completely different than somebody who's just coming into the game. So if you just picked this game up for free on Game Pass or one of the PlayStation Plus tiers, you like, oh man, you might be overwhelmed. You like, oh, it's so much content. I got the campaign, which is a couple hours to get through. I got Kate Bishop operation. I got Hawkeye's operation. I got Black Panther's operation. And this is all before you even get to the in game content where you got all of these war zones, all of these missions to do. You got the faction missions that are not going to be pointless for you because you're new to the game. It's fresh. You got Nick Fury dropping story on you. You got Kree invasion set up and all of this stuff. Then you can go in and do the Omega level threat mission to get some gear. You can do the raids. Get you level up to 175 and all of that. And then you just got this new villain mission a week ago. And it's like, oh, cool. So if you're new, you're loving it. If you've been here from the jump, you're not doing nearly enough. And it's because, they have to focus on newer players because those are the people who are going to be most willing to engage with the marketplace. So many people, like, I'm going to do an example here. And be honest, if you can. Be honest. Drop a 1 in chat if you have currently been withholding buying things from the marketplace. So you don't buy anything from the marketplace, and you're doing that specifically until you see something better. So if you are consciously saying I'm not buying anything from this game until I know what the future is, or until they give me somebody I want, or something like that, if you're withholding interacting with that marketplace for whatever reason, be real, keep it a buck, drop a 1 in chat. I see we got a couple ones, and it's like I'm not about to come at you sideways. I'm not about to dump blame on you or anything like that. I appreciate you guys being honest. I appreciate the participation, and because it's like I get it, I 100% get it. Especially if you got burned with the Marvel Heroes stuff, I get it. But at the same time, it's a live service game who only sells you stuff from the marketplace. So if they're not making money, if everybody took that stance, if everyone was saying we're not buying anything in this game that isn't free. So if it's not a shipment, I'm not buying it. I'm not putting any resources into this game. But we want it to live. We want it to keep going. We want the game to keep dragging along, but you're counting on other people who essentially you're viewing as suckers for buying this stuff to fund it. And it's like I just can't function like that. Again, it's like they're trying. Brandon McCain with the sub. Appreciate you becoming an Avenger. Thank you, good sir. And waiting for sales, that's another thing that's lucrative. Be strategic, be smart. Don't burn yourself out. Do what you can. You know what your resources look like better than anybody. So do what you can when you can. And I'm not advocating for you to to wail out on the marketplace. That's not what we're doing here. I'm not telling you how to handle your funds and everything. I'm just simply saying if you're taking that stance like, hey, I'm not buying anything from this game, then you also at the same time have to be okay with the game dying as a result of that kind of participation, because Dragonheart, your boy. Thank you for becoming a member, bro. Support. Appreciate you guys. But yeah, it's like if you want the game to survive, if you want the game to keep kicking and rolling, and you want to keep things going until you can get something you're more excited for coming to the game, you got to give them something. So if you want to hold out for a sale, I get it. Go ham in the sale. Put $20 in the game. Get you like 10 to 15 skins or something. A couple takedowns. Go crazy. Do what you can. But hey, it's your boy. Yo boy. Oh, Yo B. I'm sorry. It's Sunday, and then it's just not getting 12 o'clock. So Yobi, forgive me, bro. I appreciate you becoming an Avenger. I get it right going forward. I don't know why I was saying you, boy. Hey, it's Sunday. I'll blame it on the day. But yeah, it's like, bro, I appreciate that, Yobi. It's like I said, just support them. Like I'm not telling you to do it. If you seen me play the game, if you seen me open up my skin menus and things like that, I have all the Thor skins. I got several Black Widow skins. I got several Captain America skins. I got tons of Iron Man skins. I got a couple Hulk skins. I mess with the game heavy. I don't even play Kamala that much, but I got a couple of her skins. I bought marketplace skins for her. I bought marketplace skins for every character in the game because one, I only buy what I like. So I'm not just buying everything. So when they were really going ham with the recolors, I wasn't interacting with that. When they started doing the MCU skins a little more consistently, and then they started giving us comic skins, I was all about that. So I'm not just buying anything. I'm not telling you just go in there and just buy whatever. But if you want the game, to continue to get support, financial support on your end has to come in because again, if you paid $60 2 years ago, that's not doing much for them right now. They spent that a long time ago, bro. They paid all the bills they could with that, and now they looking to keep the lights on, and they need your support to do that. And again, they're not selling you content when they could, and honestly, they should. They should sell us content. They should sell us new heroes. They should sell us new mission content and things like that because you genuinely need it. It's a live service game. You need resources to keep the bills paid. That's just how the market works. And the fact that they're committed to not doing that shows that, hey, one, they're doing pretty good with skins or better than you probably would believe. And two, they really don't want to, they don't want to extort you with skins. Even though people accuse them of that all the time, they just gave you 3 MCU skins, $14 a piece. Valued at $14 a piece, 3 of them for free. And they've been giving away skins for a while. They've given out several MCU skins. They've given out comic skins. They've given away Gamer Robbie with the sub. Appreciate that, bro. Thank you for becoming an Avenger. They've given out Amazon Prime skins and everything. But it's like, hey, I only purchased 1 skin and I'm a day 1 player. Like I said, bro, you good. It's a pandemic as well. It's, people just coming out of a pandemic and stuff. So it's like I'm not telling you you wrong for saying I'm not spending from this game for whatever reason. I'm simply saying there are other things that are affected by that. So the game doesn't just magically live. People have to pay for this stuff. Those recolors that people were talking about and making fun of people for being dumb enough to buy, if they weren't doing that, this game probably isn't here right now. You get what I'm saying? If like that, those people are funding your play experience. They're keeping it around so you can have something to log into and you get new content and everything like that. But as you can see, they didn't have much. They just got bought out by a new company, so they should see a resource boost soon or a funding boost, which they kind of have because that's why they're in a position to do more hiring. And I think they're being put in position to publish the game themselves. So Embracer owns the studio, but the studio itself is the one publishing the license. So it's like we'll learn more about that probably in the next Embracer Group quarterly report. So when they do the Q2 report for the year, we'll learn what was about the new acquisitions, and you'll probably hear one of the developers speak, in depth about what's going on with the game going forward. So I know a lot of people were set up to, expect some news from Avengers, in the last update, but that was quarter 1. They weren't going to talk about anything from quarter 2 and quarter 1, so you kind of got gaslit. But quarter 2, they're free to talk about, at the very least, the studio. So they might only talk about, Crystal Dynamics working on Perfect Dark and Tomb Raider and things like that, but they should have a lot more freedom to talk about Avengers if they so choose, or if they have something they want to say. Quarter 2 report is the place to look for that, not quarter 1, and not any other paperwork that doesn't have anything to do with that. What's good, Naba Flow? How you doing, bro? Appreciate you coming through. We need an Armor Wars event that introduces War Machine. You know I'm about it, bro. You know I'm about it. But yeah, it's like we just you gotta be fair with them. So again, it's like if I'm taking the stance that I'm not spending a dime on this game, I'm not giving them a dime. I'm definitely not on the internet bashing them about what they can and can't do. I'm not telling them, oh, well, they're lazy, or they're only doing this, or they're cutting corners. They don't have any resources, and I'm part of the reason they don't. I'm not contributing anything. You get what I'm saying? It's like that's like somebody who doesn't help you pay your bills telling you how you should pay your bills and how you should manage your house. It's like, bro, either contribute or keep it quiet. I don't need to hear that. And I'm not saying you should be silent. I'm just simply saying that's how I function. I'm not dictating to you anything because I'm a part of the problem, essentially. I'm not giving you any money, so I can't tell you how to use the money you do have. So if you say, hey, we only can do so much with the money we have available, I can't knock you for it because I'm not giving you anything to make that better. It's possible they may finish the game off on a high note with Captain Marvel and then do a part 2. A lot of people are looking for a part 2, but honestly, that's what we going back to combating that narrative around the game. The game's everything, any mention of this game has been met with negativity. Like it's nothing but negative. Like nobody passes up opportunity to take a shot at this game. People will make a whole video disingenuously, just comparing this game to something that's not even remotely close to it, just for the sake of being negative with Avengers. It's like, I get it, bro. The game isn't what you want it to be, but it's like, we don't have to do that, but people do. If they announce something tomorrow, if they say, oh, Winter Soldier, the 2.7 update is coming later in October, you're gonna see 50 articles about that. If Miller comes out today and says, hey, I learned something new about the next hero, you're gonna see articles about that the next day. Why? Because people care about the game. They know people follow this game. They know people want to hear about this game, but everybody pretends like they don't. Everybody pretends like, oh, they're just so cool and done with the game. They don't play it anymore. I'm playing this other stuff. It's great, but I'm staying up to date on the news, and I make sure to say something negative every chance I can about this game that I don't care about. It's like, you're not doing that for any other game. Nobody's running around still punching down at Anthem or any of these other games that folded. You're not doing that. Why? Because the game is gone. Nobody's messaging Brian on Twitter about Marvel Heroes. Nobody's punching down at Marvel Heroes. The game is gone. You know it's gone. It's nothing there. So that's what I'm saying. Like, the game is bigger than you know, but at the same time, they only have so much of a team. They only have so much they can do. And Avengers 2, you're not even close to that. You're not even close to that. With this game as it currently is, yeah. You heard Miller say he's not leaking anymore. Miller, he's in a weird spot with that, but it may be some light at the end of the tunnel. I'll say that. So you may see him again. You don't be surprised if you hear something from Miller, at some point. I got 5,000 in the game being negative. Yeah, it's like, bro, like, why do we have to pretend like we don't like the game? It's like being disappointed with the game. That's cool. Hey, put it down, or But it's what makes it weird is saying that you like it, or oh, I'm just passionate about it. But everything you say is negative. everything you say is either negative or you're spinning a narrative about the game dying and all this other stuff. Every year we keep proving this wrong. Every year it's proven wrong, but we just keep moving the goalpost and just keep it going forward. A month ago, not or a day or two ago, the game was supposed to die in September. The game was supposed to shut down in September. We're in October, and I can turn the game on right now. I was just playing the game this morning. You can play the game right now, but it was supposed to shut down in September. What happened to that? Where did that go? What happened? The goalpost moved. Now, it might die in December. It might die next year. It might. And when it doesn't die, nobody calls these people out on it. You'll be like, hey, bro, what was you talking about? What was that you were saying a month ago? What was that you were saying 3 months ago? When Black Panther expansion dropped, people were saying the game was going to die. Oh, this game is going to die. Oh, no, we have a lot of content coming out next year. We got plans for next year. We see what those plans were. But, hey, the fact that they're still here was announced last year in the midst of people saying the game was going to die. And what did they do? Move the goalposts. They just moving the goalposts. That's it. That's all. Every game that comes out is going to kill Avengers. Marvel Future Revolution, that's going to kill Avengers. This game, that's going to kill Avengers. When this drops, it's going to kill Avengers. Those two things aren't even connected. People stop playing this game all the time. In the summer, it was dry. Between January and June, you know how many people stopped playing this game and came back when they heard new content was coming? Because that's what people do. That they know this. When you logged in on Game Pass and saw that game was free to play. All right, cool. I have no reason not to give it a chance. And when I gave it a chance, I actually like it. I don't know why everybody's so negative about this game. I actually like this game. This is pretty cool. There's a lot to do in this game. And it's like, but we keep doing it. We just keep doing it over and over and over and over again. People say stuff, unsupported, unsubstantiated by anything. They don't show anything to support that, but hey. Yeah, like I said, people say that all the time. What did they show you to support that? What supports that? What supports the shut it down narrative? What supports it? Is there anything in writing of, hey, the game is going to shut down in September. The game is going to shut down in December. There's nothing to support it. We just keep saying it. We just keep saying it over and over and over again until eventually 5 years down the road, if the game dies, I told you guys. I told you, I've been saying it for years, the game was dead. And it's like, that's the kind of clout we looking for out here? Like, what are we doing? You can just go play something else. Like, bro, you don't have to follow this game. You don't have to keep updated with this game. I promise you, if you step away from this game and give them like 2 or 3 updates, you'll have something to do when you come back. You'll have a new mission. You'll have a new character. You got something fun, some fun changes in the game you might enjoy or something like that. It won't be as grueling on you as waiting for update after update after update, one at a time, while sitting here still burnt out on everything you've already been doing. You can leave the game. It's not going to die while you're gone, and if it does, there's nothing you can do about it anyway. That's the thing. It's like, you don't have to watch this game. Like, this game isn't going to magically die if it's not under constant supervision. Like, the game, we have no control over that. If whoever has a hand on the plug pulls the plug, what are you going to do? You ranting about it isn't going to do anything. You putting money into it didn't do anything. Nothing is going to change that. So it's like, why are you so stressed about it? Why do we constantly have to look for this and make it a narrative when it's nothing to even support it? Like, people saying like, they weren't mentioned in Embracer's reports and stuff like that. The deal wasn't even done. You can't legally speak on it. It's not done. It's like, it makes no sense. If they don't say it here, it's going to be done. That makes no sense. You can't speak on something that's not even legally finished. Like, you yourself destroyed the deal by speaking on it out of turn. You can't do that. They understand that. They want the deal to get finished, which is why they're not doing that. People always play other games, bro. That's all people. I just was saying, I play Elden Ring all the time. I've been playing Elden Ring more than Avengers, but I was just playing Avengers this morning. Avengers is still there. When you want to come back to it, it'll be there. You don't have to play Bucky right now. I mean, not Bucky. You don't have to play Avengers right now. If you don't play Avengers from now until Bucky drops, what's going to change? Nothing. You can go play any other game you want. You can go do anything else you want. But the game is still the game. The game is still there. Just show something that supports is gonna die. What does Gotham Knights coming out have to do with Avengers? Because it's people who are not interested in Gotham Knights. It's people who are not interested in Midnight Suns. It's people who are not interested in God of War. Everybody, the player base as a whole is not finna collectively just shift over to any one or two games and things like that. And again, most of these games aren't even live service games. There is no end game really. So it's like you finish the game and you're done. You got to go back to whatever else you want to play. When you beat Spider-Man, that's it. When you beat Miles Morales, that is it. That's all there is to do in the game. And when you're done with that, guess what's still here? Guess what's... Oh, there's an update around the corner for Avengers. They just talked about 2.8 or 2.9 or 3.0 or whatever. So it's like the game is still going to be there. That stuff doesn't hurt it the way that the narrative suggests it does. People can go play other games. Remember this time last year when Guardians of the Galaxy dropped? They were promoting that. They were saying, hey guys, go check out Guardians of the Galaxy. And guess what people did when they finished Guardians of the Galaxy, myself included? They came back and started playing Avengers again. Right, but that's what I'm saying. It's like it's plenty to do. Like they encourage you to play other games. Like if you actually talk to the developers, they tell you like, hey, one, playing any game for extended hours on end isn't healthy. They don't want you doing that. This is why they gatekeep or time gate the content to begin with, because they want you to go outside and do stuff. They want you to do something else with your time. So yes, we give you enough to do throughout a week to satisfy your gaming experience. There's people who are 30, 40 years old with families who can't play the game all day. They can't play the game and do all this stuff in a day. They're not blowing through Bucky as soon as he gets there. They're not blowing through Clone Lab. They might not even be Clone Lab ready because they got a full-time job. So the content is there. Those are the people who still show up. They don't follow the narratives. They're not listening to nonsense. And they just like, hey, I like the game. I like the skin. I like that. You can do whatever you want. You can interact with the game how you choose. The people who are getting burnt out on it are the people who playing the raid over and over and over, the OLT over and over and over. You leveling up everybody over and over and over, and the game just isn't designed to play every day. It's not designed to play all day every day. Like you can play the raid over and over again, but it's not even rewarding like that. You get one piece of gear for the same amount of work. That doesn't make sense. Quite honestly, the fact that the game continues to go on destroys the narrative. You would think that. You would honestly would think that, but it's like it doesn't. We just changed the date. So if I say the game is going to die on October the 15th, the 15th rolls around, nothing happens. I'll just it's going to die in December. It could die later December. And when that date gets here and, we just keep it rolling, I just move the goalpost again. I just keep moving it, kicking the can down the road, and it's self-fulfilling. Nothing happens. Nothing does anything. It is like, if you tell me something is like you selling this with certainty and all of this stuff, and then nothing of what you say it comes to pass, you got no credibility with me, bro. If Miller said that Winter Soldier was coming out, and then the official reveal said, "Oh, She-Hulk," you don't think his credibility is gonna take a hit? Yeah, the people who want him to be wrong, they're waiting for stuff like that. They're waiting for you to mess up like that, and it's like, hey, that's fine. That's how you live, whatever. But again, it's like you can't just say stuff. It's constantly proven wrong. And I just keep showing up every week to listen to the next one. No, we got to talk about what you just said. So if the weatherman says it's going to rain today, and I go outside and see clear skies, all right, I don't know who hired this guy, but that won't be my source of information when I check the weather. This dude don't know what he's talking about. Oh, it's going to be a hurricane, guys. It didn't even rain. It's like, what are you talking about? Like, what are we doing? And again, it's like if you want to constantly say the game is dying, or you feel like the game just isn't safe until they come out, what game is doing that though? What game is coming out telling you, hey, we're going to be alive this long, we're going to do this, is this, that, and the other? No, they just keep operating this business as usual. Nobody knows when GTA Online is going to shut down. Nobody knows if that's going to shut down as soon as GTA 6 drops or nothing like that. They don't talk about that. They just tell you when they got new content coming out. That's it. That's how every game operates. But for some reason, if Avengers doesn't do this, oh, it's dying. Oh, if they don't give us assurances, then we know it's dying. Who does that? What game does that? So do you believe it's a good rotation of events? I feel like the events need some rework beyond what they did. I think you need new events. Like the bi-weekly rotation is fine. Making the rewards actually rewarding is fine. But at this point, it's like, can we get one or two more? Can we get something new? Maybe throw in bosses into the events or something like that. Like I don't know. Like going into a different part of the city triggers an event where a boss spawns or something like that. Like add features like that into the game. I know it's not as simple as that, but it's like that line of thinking it would be more exciting than Red Room for the 50th time, corrupted vibranium for the 50th time, and all of this stuff is like, it's fine. Yeah, they didn't start on the right foot. They started off on a crippled foot. Like that foot had problems. And it's like they're trying. Every step isn't the right step. Every step isn't the best move. But they're trying. They at least looking where they're going a little bit. So it's like I give them some credit. But it's like just take it a day at a time, bro. Like I get most people are living in the future as far as what the game can be and where they want the game to go and what they want to come to the game. So hey, I want Doctor Strange. So I know they announced Winter Soldier. I'm looking for what's next. What's next? What's next? Because what's here right now isn't that exciting for me. I'm not that excited about Winter Soldier. I'm not that excited about cloning labs. I'm not that excited about the villain sector. So I'm always looking to what's next. And it's like I get it. But again, if you take a step away and just go chill out for a couple updates, let them get out a couple updates. You don't even follow the news. Don't be a part of the conversation. Leave the game alone. So when you come back, it will feel fresh. It will be so much that you don't know that you now get to explore because you haven't been around. Give them 2 or 3 updates. I promise you. I promise you, when you come back, you'll be a little more refreshed than you are right now with this game because they don't have much news. They're not dropping content constantly. It's only so much they can do. And you've been sitting here watching their every move from day one, waiting on big announcement after big announcement that come so far and in between, so far few and in between. So it's like, it's never gonna change, bro. Like Bucky is not gonna ignite passion for you in this game. Cloning Lab is not gonna reignite passion for you. What's good, Calvin? How you doing? I'm chilling on the Sunday, talking about Avengers as usual. Yeah, it's like we at some point you got to recognize we doing a lot of this stuff to ourselves. So it's like the constant panicking about the game dying is like the development team isn't doing that to you. They haven't told you the game is dying. They haven't told you things is shaky over here or anything like that. They just they're under a different publisher now, so they're in a better position than they were last year. It's like that's a positive, but we spent that into a negative somehow because we don't know what's going on. But you can turn your game on. They're still releasing content. They're planning and developing content. It's like, what more incentive do you need? Like, they're still working on the game. That's all you should want them to do. Keep working on the game. Oh, well, we need to know what's going on behind the scenes. For what? You don't know what's going on behind the scenes for anything else? We don't know what's going on with Spider-Man 2. Does anybody think that game isn't coming? No. But you don't know what's going on. You don't know what's going to be in there. You don't know who's going to be in there. You can barely say 10 things about that game because they keep it close to the vest. But does anybody doubt that it's coming? No. You don't have to know exactly what's going on behind the scenes to know that, hey, they're still working on the game. What's good, Mandalorian? Appreciate you coming through, man. It's like, let me see. Let me catch up. They've shown their potential with the last few fire skins. They added a little content. They've even given us back our powers. Yeah, it's like, So if you look at the updates from this year, this is what they've been doing. They give you a little bit. You know what I'm saying? These updates have mostly been geared towards newer players. So if you're new to the game, Nick Fury being on the ship, guiding you through the content and everything, giving you a rundown of what to expect and what's going on. Hey, what could be next after Bucky? We have no idea, bro. Like, we don't know if it'll be content. We don't know if it'll be a new hero. We genuinely don't know what's in 2.8. But like I said, the fact that we know something else is coming, like, it's coming. Appreciate that, Craig. Appreciate you coming through, bro. Hope you having a positive and wonderful Sunday as always, bro. I swear I always appreciate the positivity. Like, something a lot of people have to realize about this game as well is it's not necessarily even the game that's kind of draining you at this point. It's the conversation around the game. It's like, it's only so much you can take of people, telling you the game is gonna die, or telling you what the game needs, or telling you who the game needs and stuff like that. Before it's like, I need a break. I need to step away from this for a bit, or that drained feeling isn't coming from the game itself necessarily. It's coming from just the conversation around the game. If you tired of waiting on content, you are 100% right for that. You are 100% fair in feeling that way. It's like, there's nothing wrong with saying, like, I wish we got content sooner. I wish we got more content. But this is year 2 of limited releases. This actually is the least amount of releases you've gotten in a year from them. So, again, to expect this kind of year next year wouldn't be a stretch. And if you said, hey, I'm going to get up out of here, I feel you, bro. Like, I get it. What's good, LeJohn? That's why I'm chilling. That's all you can do with the game, bro. Just chill and play it. Like, if you enjoy the game, if you enjoy still playing these missions, if you enjoy still running around doing the combat and all of that stuff, then just vibe with it. Just enjoy the game. What's good, Cobra Gamer? How you doing, bro? Well, yeah, it's like, I want them to do more iconic missions. I want them to do a lot of stuff with the game. But I also recognize, hey, they might not do it. They may never do it. And whatever they going to do is what they going to do. I can't stress over it. I'm happy that the Winter Soldier is coming. I can't wait to play with the Winter Soldier. I can't wait to see what cloning labs look like. I'm going to enjoy the content, but, I also know it's going to be a while before we get something else after that. Or the chances of us waiting a while to get something after that is highly likely, or very high. They do so many weird things, bro. It's so many weird things. Like, dropping 2.5 right after 2.4 did nothing but set the expectation that, okay, well, content is coming sooner now. They're going to be getting out stuff. So it's like, okay, well, maybe they can get out She-Hulk and Winter Soldier before the year ends. Maybe they can get out a new mission. Who knows? And then it's like, oh, well, nope. That's it for that. So 2.6 is going to come 2 months after 2.5. And who knows when 2.7 is going to come. And it's like, then you shouldn't have did it, bro. You should have just dropped You should have just dropped Jane with 2.5, 2.4. That would have made the most sense. 2.6 should have been, like, Bucky should have came in 2.6 with the villain sector, because it's like, you're not offering much else, and then again that sets up someone else. So you can introduce Bucky, with the as a part of the AIM takedown, and then you introduce another hero with Cloning Lab, just to have an even bigger team taking down AIM. Like, but again, we don't know their timetable. We don't know what's holding up resources behind the scenes. We don't know, bro. We don't know. What is Cloning Lab? It's a facility where AIM makes clones. Still want She-Hulk? A lot of people still want She-Hulk. And like I said, if she comes to the game, if she gets announced, where did the idea that she was getting canceled come from? Just, you get what I'm saying? It's like, think about that. Just think about stuff like that. If I tell you, hey, this is going to happen, and it doesn't happen, you get what I'm saying? Like, I'm not guaranteeing you anyone I showed you today is coming to the game. I'm just simply saying I feel like there's a possibility, there's a high probability of another Echo coming to the game, and the people I listed here I can see them, one, I listed them here because obviously Sharon Carter, John Walker, clones of Captain America. Those are Captain America spinoffs. Black Panther spinoff. Black Panther spinoff. Hulk spinoff. Black Widow spinoff. Iron Man spinoff. Spider Man, but he's not coming. Thor, but he's not coming. And then, like I said, we went into things the developers themselves have said. So I'm not just pulling stuff out of my ass. I'm simply saying a clone would obviously be based on somebody who's currently in the game. Who would be a good clone for Kamala outside of Mr. Fantastic? So who's a stretchy powered, Marvel hero who could, be similar to Miss Marvel? Captain Marvel isn't in the game yet, so anybody they introduce, in the same vein as her wouldn't be a clone because no one in the game currently is like that. Ironheart is the most likely Echo. You can definitely make that argument, and it's like this is just a conversation. Like I'm genuinely just here. It's Sunday. Let's talk about Avengers. You get what I'm saying? It's like we chilling. I'm not telling you age. She's guaranteed to come to the game, or this is 100% coming to the game. Why do I think she's coming to the game? She's getting popular. She's getting big. The same reason Jane Foster popped up in the game. They was ready to do a push with her. She's popular in the comics. They've done a couple things with her. She's a Valkyrie now and all of this other stuff, and she was going to be in Love and Thunder. And Marvel was like, hey, it'd be kind of cool if you put her in your game. And Crystal Dynamics was like, okay, we'll put her in our game. Why? We don't know. And that suit is badass? Yeah, bro. But it's like I said, if you genuinely, Flatman is a Kamala clone, I'll take it. I appreciate that, Abby. Yeah, like that's all we do over here. We chill out, we vibe. We don't come at people sideways. It's not about negativity. It's not about and you won't be silenced over here. So if you got problems with the game, feel free to share that. Like we can do that right now. If you you can drop your biggest problem in the game right now. I'll address it. We can talk about it. I might agree with you. Who knows? But it's not about shutting you down over here. It's not about, like, if you say I want Ghost Rider in the game, I'll tell you I don't think that's likely. But yes, would he be dope in this game? 100%. I would like Ghost Rider too. I don't see him coming to this game anytime soon. But hey, it's nice to want things, and you're not dumb or wrong for saying that. You want what you want. So it's like I'm not trying to shut down anybody. Roadmaps were the pinnacle of communication in the community. Yeah, I feel like the decision to move away from roadmaps kind of shielded them away from, being accountable for what they say is coming to the game. But I also understand why they chose to move away from it, because they kept pulling stuff off the roadmap. You put patrol mode on there, and then you took it off because it wasn't ready and it wasn't what you wanted it to be, and now you look crazy for that. So it's better to never have put it on there at all and introduce it when it's ready than say, oh, it's coming in 3 months and it never comes. For the time being, I think and it's in the best interest of the developers to do quality of life updates. I would disagree. I feel like we did enough of that, especially for this year, and a lot of the quality of life updates are better serving newer players, which I get, but at the same time, it's like you kind of got to throw more of a bone to your veteran players at some point. Surprisingly, I actually do not have many problems. I love this game, and for what it is, it's actually pretty good. Just wish content came out faster, but I understand the technical difficulties. Yeah, bro, and it's like that's another thing. Like when people say they want me to be more critical of the game, it's like I'm not gonna sit up here and bash the game and the developers and all of this stuff. What's good, Black Wakanda? How you feeling, bro? Appreciate you coming through. But yeah, it's like I like the game. Like I like the game. Is it the best it could be? No. Is it the best design game ever? No. But I like the game. I genuinely like the game. I have fun playing the game. I can play the game and have fun. Playing with friends, playing with subscribers, talking to people about the game, playing the game, that's all fun and dope. I love tearing people up with Hulk. I love throwing Thor's hammer around. I love kicking Captain America's shield around. I love flying around with Iron Man. I love a lot of the things that the game offers. So it's like to get up here and be like, oh, well, this game is just trash and everything they do is terrible and their skins are trash and they're lazy. And it's like, bro, and then go turn the game on and sit there and play for like 2-3 hours. That's disingenuous, bro. And it's like I'm not getting up here capping with you like that. So I can't do that. Loadout and the fabric machine need to be a thing. Yeah, that's either remove that or make it worthwhile. The fabrication machine, to take it out, to take all of that stuff out for so long, take patterns out of the game and reintroduce them in such an underwhelming way was a misstep. I don't know what the strategy was behind that. I don't know what the thought process was behind that. So it's like I don't want to get down on you too harshly because I don't know what you were thinking. I don't know if you have something bigger planned, but you could have did a lot better than what you did with that, in my opinion. The shipments are denying me the version skins, the Verizon skins, and they are hiding the nameplates. Yeah, I did some tests with shipments when it first dropped. If you really want everything out of the shipments, you are gonna pay. Like, you better have like over 1,000,000 units. Like, if you want everything out of like one shipment installment, like everything that's available, I think I spent over like 800K units, and this was back when we had the pattern machine cheese. It's like the RNG is insane, and it's still skins. Like one skin, like I think it's like a 1 or 2 Kate skins I don't have. The brass skins are very hard to get, and it's like I'm not that hard up to get them, so it's like it's whatever. But yeah, it's like the RNG can be brutal in the shipments. I feel like there should be a reward for each difficulty of a mission, similar to how Destiny does it. I'm not that familiar with Destiny. I know they took a lot of inspiration from Destiny. Destiny never really grabbed me like that. Like I still have Destiny brand new, Destiny 2 brand new in the packaging, sitting on my shelf. I just never got around to playing it. I'll try to get around to playing it at some point. It's just like the character design, the gameplay, and all that stuff. It just never appealed to me really. Going to get back into the game since Google Stadia is going to be shut down. Seriously blows. Love the community, but I really did start to get into the game and want to continue and see where it goes. Yeah, bro, like just stick around or just pace it. Just kind of hang out and check in when you can. Don't put expectations on the game because you're always gonna get disappointed with that. What's good, Glad? How you doing, bro? Sorry for just getting to your comment. I'm trying to go through the comments and give everybody a chance to voice their piece on it. Outerland would be great too. Getting to meet iconic Inhumans. It's so much more they can do with the Inhumans. I got to sit down and make that video. I touched on it in the stream a couple weeks ago, but matter of fact, what did they do? They announced something. I think that was the day they announced the release date for the villain sector. I was talking about the Inhumans in the game then, and the Royal Inhumans and everything. But yeah, we'll be talking about that more. How can I find better people to play the raid with? If you type !Discord in the chat, you can join my Discord and either link up with myself to play it, or you can find other people on your platform to play it with over there. Listening, hearing, appreciating you, Cass, because you're so fair and understandable with everyone's opinion and everything you speak is like everything I say isn't a fact. Everything I say is just subjective for the most part. Like, it's either what I feel, what I think, or whatever. But like I'm not the overruling authority on the game or anything like that. But I can't help but be fair with him. Like I said, I see Brian getting attacked on Twitter. I see the interactions he has and stuff like that. And as somebody who myself gets tired of the negative comments, like to see people show up every week just to make a negative comment under a post about a skin, it's like, why, bro? Like, I'm tired just from watching you. I get exhausted just watching you from over here. To actually live like that, I couldn't fathom it. Like, I couldn't fathom living my life like that. So to be on the receiving end of that, somebody who constantly gets mentioned and added and on Twitter with the negativity and stuff, it's like I can't blame that man for being burned out. He kind of opens the door for it in some ways, but at the same time, nobody should be just hit with a wave of just negativity every time they hop on social media. That sucks. Destiny 2 is really good based on build crafting. than Destiny 1. Yeah, I got friends who play it. Like Hyrule, he plays it all the time. I've never been interested in it. I said on my Twitter, they have a lot of potential storylines just from the audio logs to tell, like just the hammer. Yeah, it's like I feel like they should think more before setting stuff up in teas and stuff, especially with no real plans on paying that off anytime soon. So like the Loki teases, I feel like it would have been better if you didn't do that because it's like, what was the point of that, bro? Like you don't seem to be gearing up for a Loki reveal anytime soon. Like it seems like we moving in every direction except that, and it's like, well, what was the point? Thor's iconic mission is open ended. Like it's unresolved. Nothing changed. You know, what it was a cool tease, but what did we do? PvP, not in this game, bro. Not you. don't want PvP in this game. Just be honest. Being honest with you, you don't want PvP in this game. You got people save scumming. You got people save wizarding. You don't want PvP in this game. You will literally be pulling your hair out like Homer Simpson. You don't want PvP. So did they drop Loki? Are you talking about like drop him as in terms of like moved away from that? I don't think so. If you're talking about dropping him into the game, then absolutely not. He's not in this game outside of cutscenes and mentions. Anything about loadouts? I know that loadouts are something they still exploring. Like that's a design problem. Like that's something they have to figure out from a design standpoint. And again, it's just like with everything else in the game, they have to find the time and resources to allocate to that. And the funding within the budget to actually put those resources there, or if they can find an avenue where they can outsource that or something like that, is like loadouts, crossplay, all of that stuff is still being explored, and they haven't found obvious solutions yet, or they aren't at a place where they're ready to communicate that. So they haven't announced anything different on that front outside of they're still exploring those options. But they figured something out for Join in Progress, and that's something the game desperately needs, and that's something they know. How does one join the server? You just type !Discord and follow the link. Let me see. What's today? Sunday. I've been planning to watch the Ultimate. We watched the Ultimate Avengers in Discord. Like we had a watch party for that like a week ago, I want to say. And I wanted to move on to the second one, but a lot of people missed the first one, so I'm gonna do a rewatch of that one. So I'll see if I can set up a watch party for tonight, like around 6 or 5 or something like that, maybe 7. I'll do an announcement from the community page, and I'll do an announcement in the Discord and everything, letting you guys know you can come over there and hang out and watch the movie. I got both movies though. The first one, rewatching it, like I haven't watched that movie probably since like 2011 or something like that. But it's like I love those movies. Those were so dope, and rewatching it just shows how much influence they took, from the Ultimate Universe in the MCU. Like the version of Captain America you see in the MCU is a lot more akin to Captain America in the Ultimate Universe in terms of design and everything than he is with the traditional Captain America. I hope they add Ironheart. Like I said, I don't have strong feelings either way. The Discord link is expired. Give me one sec. Let me see. But yeah, bro, like I'm telling you, like it's a lot they can do with the game. Try that link out, see if that helps you. It's a ton of stuff they can do with this game still, and it's a ton of stuff they still want to do with the game. It's just the Ultimate Avengers comics. Yeah, bro, 100%. I don't know what was going on in the comics. Like I just was looking at an Ultimate comic with the Hulk trying to hawk down Betty and the Wasp on some horny stuff. It's like, bro, what? Who's writing this? Who is writing this? But one of their best stories was when Thor went mad a little bit because of Loki, when Valkyrie got killed and he started attacking the Avengers and everything. Like that was kind of dope. The Hulk was down tremendous, bro. I was like, what, bro? When I really, I'm like, okay, well this can't be the dialogue, but I'm like, this is an official, this is official, so it's like it has to be the dialogue. And I was like, somebody wrote this. It's like, what is going on? Yeah, even in strength of Captain America in the MCU is like he's kind of scaled up, even beyond that a little bit. But it's like, yeah, the ultimate Captain America was. I don't like him. I don't like his personality. Like he's definitely an asshole. But he's the idea that he's still young, has his young physique and everything like that was a good route to go with him. Only few good things that came from the Ultimate Comics was Spider-Man and Miles. Yeah, Ultimate Spider-Man was dope, bro. Like, I love the writing for him. I'm usually not a fan of keeping him a kid too long, but it's like the writing for that and how his death and everything was handled was extremely dope. But yeah, like if you haven't seen those Ultimate Avengers movies, like I said, I'll set up a watch party and we can do a rewatch of the first one and then we can set a time to watch the second one. The OG Captain America was more at the peak of human physical potential. Yeah, he was just more like an enhanced human, and the ultimate version is like they juiced that man up. Like he went from like a scrawny, malnourished dude to like what you saw on screen in the movie. And it's like, hey, it's dope. I still had the Ultimate Spider-Man game. Yeah, I still got that. It was dope. Like I said, it's they did some interesting things, and I was glad they rolled some of that stuff over. Like I like the Ultimate version of Nick Fury looking like not Jack Nicholson. Whoa, Samuel L. Jackson. Like the Jack part is what threw me off. And I was just watching something with Jack Nicholson. That's what it was. But I got all the old Spider-Man games from PS2 and above, other than Friend and Foe. Yeah, I picked up Friend and Foe on a whim. Like it was dope for what it was. But yeah, if you make a Spider-Man game, I'll more than likely check it out for the most part. I did miss out on some of them though. Like I never played Web of Shadows, and I never played Shattered Dimensions, is it? And I never played the follow up for that, Edge of Time, I think. But it's because my work life around that time was super busy. Like I wasn't playing a lot of games in general. Ultimate Avengers had Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver as a couple. The writing, bro, is just horrendous. I don't know who was green lighting it, but it's horrendous. But I'm interested to see what they do with Shuri and Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. Like I'm very interested in seeing what they do with that story, because it's like I'm not a fan of T'Challa dying, but it's like I get it, and I'm really interested to see where they go with the new Black Panther storyline and everything. And I wish we got to see more of his rivalry with Namor before they decided to kill him off, but it wasn't in the cards. But that's one of my favorite things from the comics. Like Black Panther is one of my favorite heroes from Marvel, and that dude just doesn't play, bro. Like I love how he's a king before he's anything. Like even when he rolling with the Avengers, if something's going on with his country, he gives that the priority every time, and he just doesn't care. And it's like you don't dictate to him anything. Like I love how if he says he's behind somebody, and which means Wakanda is behind that person, you got to respect it. Everybody fall back. Nick Fury stand down, Shield stand down, the government stand down. Everybody fall back. Black Panther and Namor beef is top tier, 100%, bro. And when Black Bolt got involved, I love Black Bolt. Like they broke my heart with that though, when they had the Inhumans fighting the X-Men, and they had Black Bolt get out on Cyclops, because Cyclops, that's my favorite member of the X-Men. I'm not saying he's the best. I'm not saying he's I'm not saying he has to be your favorite, but Cyclops has always been one of my favorite X-Men. And it's like to see my boy, the way they've been doing him in the comics for a while, that's been rough. But Black Bolt, like I've always like the more I learned about Black Bolt, the more I liked him as a character. And it's like I hate how inconsistent the writing is for him, when it comes to his powers and everything. But it's like seeing him go at it with Thanos was dope. Like that's one of my favorite comic panels ever. Like seeing that man just shouting at Thanos was so dope. And Thanos just put him in the ground like, hey bro, keep your secrets. I'll find out. I get it over with. Don't worry about it. Who's dead? Black Panther. Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, I don't know how they're planning to handle that. You got variants and stuff running around. You got multiverses open, so it's like it's avenues they can take to get them back into the main storyline. But it's like that is my dude. Like T'Challa has always been my dude. Like I was so happy with how they handled his presentation in Earth's Mightiest Heroes. He was instantly my favorite. Instantly my favorite. And I love him in Ultimate Avengers. I love the little motion comic looking show they had for him on BET like what was that, like 10, 15 years ago? I was like when they just announced that that Captain America and Black Panther game, I was like, yo, like for real. Like, and then we got the OG, Black Panther too. He didn't play. Like T'Challa's grandfather did not play, bro. I'm talking about put your head on a pike. If you roll up in Wakanda, don't play. Like, I'm very interested to see how they handle him. And I definitely know that Azuri is gonna put paws on Captain America in that game. Like they kind of tease it. They kind of tease it in the small teaser that they give us. You gonna get a fight scene between them two, and I don't think it's gonna end well for Captain America. T'Challa, he's nice compared to his granddaddy. His granddaddy don't play. Thanos makes me mad because he whooped on everybody's favorite Mario. Yeah, bro, like War Machine, another one of my favorite heroes. One of my favorite panels is Thanos folding him, during the events of Civil War 2. It's an amazing panel. Like I love the way it looked. I just hate it had to be my boy. It's like I wish it was anybody but him, but it's like that was an amazing panel, bro. Civil War 2 had some. It had me engaged for the most part. I hated how Captain Marvel was handled in that, and it's like it's similar to she was essentially just Iron Man from Civil War, the first one. So it's like I get it, but it's like, bro, y'all are you're not doing her character any favors with this writing, bro. I feel like they're gonna add some magical elements or enemies to the game since Zarafari was communicating with people like Wanda, Doctor Strange, Loki, and Doctor Voodoo. Yeah, like when they decide to introduce those characters, you're gonna get a completely different narrative added to the game, and that's why I was saying like after the Kree invasion, that's where the game is at a crossroad because the team wants to go in a more cosmic direction allegedly. Now that's something that's been shared, behind the scenes that was one of their big pitches, for Embracer. But they also have set up and teased, a magical threat, and they also have shown that they know that fan interest is highly, tilted towards Doctor Strange and Wanda, and they want to deliver on that. They want to get to a place where they can deliver on that. So it's like you can go cosmic, you can go, magical. Either way is good, because if they find a way to cross over with the Guardians of the Galaxy, that would be massive for this game. That would be absolutely massive. If they go in the direction of introducing Doctor Strange with completely unique gameplay, buffs, spells, all of that stuff, massive, bro, massive. But the narrative behind that is gonna be it's too late. It took them this long to do it. So it's like it's not like it's gonna be all sunshine and rainbows. You still gonna get the trolls, you still gonna get the negativity, but either way would be massive because Doctor Strange and Wanda alone would be major. Getting Loki as a full blown villain in this game would be major. Exploring more cosmic villains like Thanos, That would be major for this game. I want to see it all. I'm down to see it all. It's just all about getting there. The big question I have is Wanda and Pietro are mutants in this universe? Because if so, they can definitely add more mutants. Yeah, that's something they gotta consider when they get ready to look down that road. War Machine got folded like an omelet, one punch, and he's done, bro. To be fair, one punch from Thanos would fold up most people. Like they toned down that punch in the movie for the sake of having Captain America around for the climax of the movie, but real life, Captain America would have been folded. If Thanos punched Captain America from the comics like that, Captain America's head would no longer exist. So it's not too many people who've taken a punch from Thanos. I'll say that. I'm telling you, bro, they should add all the heroes who were added to the team in the final scene of Age of Ultron: War Machine, Falcon, Scarlet Witch, and Vision, and go from there. That's a tough lineup, bro. I can't argue with you. That is a tough lineup. I wish they got to a place where they could drop two heroes in one update, bro. Like somebody, just two heroes whose stories are heavily intertwined and they both tie into the main narrative, and there you go. I don't see them ever getting to a point where they can do something like that, or where they would choose to do something like that. But it would be nice. It would be nice to see. Am I gonna buy Midnight Suns? I'm definitely trying to pick it up. Like I said, I'm gonna be talking about Midnight Suns as we get closer to that release as well. Who's my main character in the game? Well, it was Thor, but since I need to do more with Hulk right now, I kind of been maining Hulk, and he's a lot more fun to play with. But I was playing with Black Panther today as well, bro. I can't wait to get him to 175 and get his gear where I need it to be. Like, yeah, it's like right now it's Thor, but Hulk is climbing the ranks, I guess. Like, yeah, bro, like I swear I appreciate you guys so much for coming to hang out today. I appreciate every like. I appreciate the super chats. I appreciate the love and the support. I appreciate the positivity. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me anytime I stream and play the game and stuff like that. Shaquez, bad about yesterday. No, you good, bro. Like I said, you good. I get it. You want to know what's going on with the game. I don't always have all the answers. I try to give you as much insight as I can, but hey, it's only so much we can know, and it's like that's part of the fun, not knowing what they have next. Hopefully we can learn more details and stuff like that. I know you never know when Miller might come hit us over the head with some side info or something like that. Try this link to the Discord. That should work out for you. But yeah, it's like we want it all, and I'm for it, bro. I'm all for it, and like I said, as I get info, of course you guys will get the info. I'll always make sure to hand that off to you guys. But this is where I'm gonna wrap up. I go ahead and try to get something to eat. If I can make some time to watch the Ultimate Avengers on the Discord tonight, I'll make sure to post that both on the community tab and in the Discord. If you want to hang out and come and watch that, and if not, at the very least, we'll probably run some raids and OLTs later and stuff like that. So if you haven't already, join the Discord, and appreciate you guys so much for coming through as always, and I will catch you in the next one.